on 710. We're taking off with 9 hours of live and local LA sports talk.
The home of the 9-hour LA Sports Mega Block.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking.
We call it the LAX, LA Sports Mega Block. Of course, powered every day by LAX, Los Angeles International Airport, where change arrives daily. Let's get to it. Time to get in the air. We're taking off, LA.
We have clearance, Clarence.
Roger. What's our vector, Victor?
Travis and Sliwa has clearance right now.
Yeah! Buenos dias. Roars. How are you feeling, Slee?
What is going on, guys?
Can I tell you, Slee, don't listen to this real quick.
Okay, yep.
Emily and Jorge, something happened interesting to me yesterday. I got a text from Slee at a very weird time of the day.
Oh, was it at night?
No, it's late afternoon.
Because I got a text.
Was it about 4:30, 5 o'clock?
Maybe.
Okay.
There's a reason why. The two were connected.
Oh, okay.
And then I knew this was going to come up, and then I almost wanted to just send Emily a text like of just a exclamation point or a hi, just so I could make sure
Hello.
that I text it.
Yeah.
Hello is the perfect one. Here's what happened yesterday.
It was in Yes, Mama?
That's all Berg. I'm not taking away his titles.
Yeah, that's his area.
Pregame show yesterday, and I'm prepping. So I get down to the arena a little bit early. Of course, with everything going on the 10 freeway, I'm like, all right, let me go down to Pasadena, get a walk in, do blah, blah, and then I'm going to get back on the road. Nobody coming back. I was as early as you can be to crypto.com. I'm like, well, that backfired.
That's nice.
Yeah, that didn't happen in the morning. So I get there. No, definitely didn't happen. So I get there, and, these last couple of games, I've been eyeing the Uncrustables, right? I haven't went in on one of those in a long time. It's been a while.
Yeah.
So I set up, and now I'm starting to prep. And the first...
Are you in the media room?
I'm in the media room. Now, You haven't been to the new media room.
The one that's a little smaller than the old
We
one.
went from... The square footage went down.
Half as big?
I'd say at least.
Third?
Probably more like it's 40% the size, I want to say. So something like that. So
Is the refrigerator still there full of Uncrustables and apples and bananas?
Here is... Bananas and apples, no.
Okay.
They're in a different area, and they're gone a lot quicker
those go
than
quick.
before.
They're gone. Move quick on the fruit.
The Uncrustables, and for those who have no idea what the hell we're talking about arguably one of the greatest sandwiches ever created that should be served at every local restaurant.
I tried to tell you.
In Los Angeles County.
You looked at me funny when I told you this from
I
many years ago.
I think I looked at you funny because you said you put it in your jacket pocket.
Yes.
And... some girl was actually telling me how she put some in her purse, and I'm like, maybe then it's not as weird that Travis does that. So all
they're
the pieces
wrapped in
started
plastic. They're
going together.
Self-contained. They're not messy.
Exactly. I just thought when you take a hug, there's jelly on your shirt or
no, you're good.
So those don't last. The Uncrustables also are not ones that last. So if I'm prepping for I'm there a couple hours before the game starts. Then this is my window to get the Uncrustable.
Was it the strawberry or the grape?
It was grape.
Okay.
Yeah, which
Strawberry's good too.
I'm good with
They're both
either.
good. Yeah, they're both good.
I'm not, there's no preference
Just more curious
here.
than anything else.
So the reason why you guys both merged together is because if I'm going to have an Uncrustable...
you got to let somebody know.
No, I'm going to have a cup of coffee.
Oh.
I wanted the coffee mix with the Uncrustable.
It's not a bad combo.
So then I went into the media room, and I could connect with Jorge because we might be the only ones having coffee at 5 o'clock or whatever time it is, and just like it's completely normal, like I'm just starting the day.
Yeah.
Okay? And then I connected with you because I'm eating the Uncrustable. So I think I sent you a text that was...
It was brief. I'm looking it up right now because it was 1, 2, 3... It's 5 words long.
What was it again?
The Uncrustables don't miss, man.
Yeah, they don't miss.
All right, so this is what I got at 4:56.
Yeah, this was at 4:48. So
Okay.
yeah,
So
okay.
I think the Uncrustable was already in the belly at that point.
Well, it was like bite, coffee, bite, coffee,
So
bite.
you get yours, and mine says, just had a coffee, man. Had to do it.
Had to do it to him.
I had to do it. By the way, I'm not kidding. Yesterday it was midnight, and I was up as if
Doing
it was.
jumping jacks
Yeah, I
in your
was like,
bedroom.
I feel, rookie, want to go for a walk? He's like, no, I'm trying to go to sleep.
Do you know that there are people that walk in the middle of the night and it freaks me out?
They have the light on usually too.
It's like
they have like the headlamp.
Yeah, and they're just out for a stroll.
Well, also the middle of the night is like 5:30 now.
More like 6. Yeah, yes, that's exactly right. That it's dark.
But
Everybody should be in their homes.
No, there's 10 o'clockers out there that are just going for a jog.
That's insane.
So anyway, once I text Jorge because we had the coffee connection, I texted you because I had the Uncrustable connection, and then I went on to do. I get a text back from Jorge. Jorge, what'd you have there?
I said, I made a bad decision. I also had to do it. Check this out. And I sent him the picture of a drive-through getting.
Oh yeah, no, I got that one. That was I survived my dilemma yesterday.
You had a dilemma.
I did. I did not. I stopped, but I got a sandwich. I didn't go fast food. I was very disciplined in how mostly disciplined in how I went about doing what I was doing. But I'm always very intrigued when I get a text from you. Really ever, but particularly at that time of day. It was welcome, I guess is what I'm getting at.
I upstaged you.
Strong
I had
connection.
a Diet Coke with caffeine at 8:30. I had actually 2 of them because I needed to stay awake because I was seeing a movie late, and I was like, I gotta stay awake, so I had 2.
Were you able to
full
go to
Diet
bed
Cokes.
afterwards?
Oh, the movie got out at like 10:45, and so
Okay.
I pretty much went to bed at like 11:15.
That's not so bad.
Yeah, I can fall asleep pretty quickly. Caffeine is not. I need a lot of caffeine to keep me awake.
I'm one or the other. I'm either I can have that caffeine late and no problem, I'm out, or yesterday I could just be sitting there.
It is a switch for me, right? It literally, I used to be able to have an espresso after dinner at 9 o'clock at night and go to bed at 10. And now if I have coffee anything about a half hour from now or later, that's a wrap. I'm up all night. It happens.
Also, guys,
very
I just realized something. So, do you guys know the cartoon Arthur?
Yeah, the aardvark.
I look exactly like Arthur today. I just realized
Come around
this
the
just
desk.
now.
I need to see the
All right,
full
so
wardrobe.
I'll come around the desk, but I'm going to explain to people who are listening on just in the radio. So I have a yellow sweater on. I have a white button-up T-shirt with the collar out and the arms out, and I have jeans on. All I need is red shoes, and then it'll be Arthur in a second.
You're right. I just Googled Arthur because I knew Arthur with the and
the
you've got
graphic
the
on, right?
glasses too. Right? It's
The glasses. I just need to do. Okay, I need to recreate the meme. Okay, so you ever seen the Arthur fist meme?
The fist meme,
So
yeah.
I need to recreate the Arthur
LeBron
fist meme.
used to tweet that out.
I mean, yeah, it's a very popular meme.
Yeah.
So yes, I just realized just now that I look like Arthur. So that's fun.
What type of shoes are you wearing?
I'm wearing white tennis shoes, so I'm just slightly
Arthur's
off.
Arthur's are red and white.
Yeah,
Yes,
red and white.
So just slightly off, and the shoes even look like Arthur's shoes. So again,
When
I'm
did
just-
this dawn on you?
Just now, I was like, I look a little bit. I was like, I look like somebody.
There's
I
a little
know,
bit.
I know. I looked into the mirror this morning. I was like, I kind of look like somebody, but I like the outfit. And then I was like, yep, I look like Arthur.
What animal was Arthur?
An aardvark.
Or an aardvark.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and then but his sister DW is the biggest sass queen of all time. I love it, and it's just like she went up to the Francine. I was like, Francine, when will you stop bothering us?
Arthur was one of the children's cartoons that I didn't hate to have on in the house.
Yeah.
It was one of the when the Wiggles
about
would
Caillou?
come on. Caillou was the worst. Caillou is a hard watch. Yeah, there's a few that you get along. It was kind of chippy in the NBA last night.
Yeah, everybody.
AD shoved somebody. Draymond tried to choke out Rudy Gobert.
It's in-season tournament.
It was, yeah, I guess, hey, look, if the in-season tournament results in guys pushing each other and Rudy Gobert getting chokeholded, then, maybe you're on to something
You're
here.
pretty good at this. When Draymond Green knocked out Jordan Poole in practice and the video came out.
Yeah.
And I basically was like, he's gone for 2 years.
They've gone for 2 minutes.
Yeah, they do. They're like, yeah, we're going to let him think about everything in the preseason, and then he's going to start the regular season.
Sure.
What did they do on yesterday?
He'll get some time for sure.
Okay, you think so?
Oh, for sure. You can't choke an opposing player. Yeah.
If Draymond Green can knock out his own dude.
No, you still don't understand. You still don't get it. You can knock out your own guy behind closed doors even if the tape leaks out. That's fine. That's an internal dispute that needs to be, handled by the team.
Oh, because this one the NBA has to handle.
It happened in an NBA game with 2 opposing players where Draymond literally went Hulk Hogan on Gobert. I'll say 2.
Okay, that's not
I wouldn't
a
be
lot.
shocked if it was
And
there
like a
was
hefty
third.
fine.
He'll get fined, but I would bet just about anything that he gets 1. 2 seems about right.
My favorite were the explanations from Steve Kerr. I don't know if you heard Steve Kerr. Kerr's like, Well, I don't know what. But by the way, it is what it is. Clay got thrown out. He was trying to say, well, why did Clay get thrown out?
I didn't think Clay deserved to be thrown out either.
Which I'm fine with. That's okay. But it's the NBA. They're gonna get thrown out. That's just the NBA. Does he deserve to get thrown out? No, but I think it's because it's the NBA. I get it. But his explanation on Clay or his explanation on Draymond was as if Rudy Gobert went to Klay Thompson with two hands, grabbed him by the neck, and basically threatened his life, which is why Draymond came and should get a humanitarian award for coming in and protecting his own player. I'm like, Steve, relax.
There's a couple of things I took away from that. Number one, if stuff goes down, I want Draymond Green on my side.
That's a good guy to have on your squad.
I definitely want Draymond on my side. Mm-hmm. And B, I feel like most of the NBA has been waiting for an opportunity to choke out Rudy Gobert. I just felt like, let me grab him real quick.
But not from Draymond. I think there are a lot of people that also were waiting for a Draymond to get one of those as well.
Look, Draymond.
I'm waiting for one of those for Draymond to get the other side.
I like Draymond. But this was one of those. You can tell that the vibe coming from the NBA at large, right? Not everybody, obviously, but the general NBA vibe of the players I'm talking about towards Rudy Gobert is, nah.
Yeah.
Just not my guy.
And I also liked how Rudy Gobert afterwards was like, yeah, Draymond was probably going to want to get out of the game because he isn't playing with his best friend, Steph Curry. And I was trying to attempt to do maybe a French accent to do the Rudy Gobert, but I would be very bad at it.
Gobert, anytime I've heard him talk trash, I'm like, Gobert, don't.
French accent does not lend itself to trash talk.
Don't do that.
That's really bad.
Don't talk trash.
But either way, it's like if I would have told you guys back in, I don't know, August that two people would get in a chokehold fight, I would have probably guessed that it would be Draymond Green involved with this.
Yo, for
sure. Oh, yeah, the Draymond, no question. Yeah. Draymond just got thrown out 2 games ago.
If you're doing a Mad Libs, insert NBA player, chokeholded another one, most people would pick Draymond Green. Because that's the most likely answer.
I will say
passionate.
You said I know you're not a Draymond guy. It's actually from a basketball perspective, I have so much respect and value to what that dude has done. I'm just so annoyed watching him on the floor when everything is like a situation. I'm like, Draymond,
that's the NBA.
But he's an ultimate wild card, which is really fun.
Yes, that's right. He is one of the few things when you turn on the TV, baseball, basketball, football, I don't know what that dude's going to do.
That part's true.
And that's exciting. It's now sometimes if you're a Warrior fan, you probably feel less enthusiastic about that because
you love him to death.
No, because the enthusiastic part is for us, I don't care if Draymond gets suspended for 2 weeks. I don't care. Mm-hmm. Right? But if I'm a Warrior fan, I do. Like if Draymond were a Laker, I would love what he would bring to the team.
Yeah.
But that he could sabotage the team just because it reacts to something would be nervous.
I'm trying to think who's a good person who can give the same chokehold to Draymond. Could it be like Julius Randle? I'm trying to find the right guy.
Marcus Smart,
shorter too, so he can jump on him the way he jumped on Gobert. Smart's a good one.
Who came after a Laker on the Heat? Was it? Remember, like 2 years ago, the Lakers, and I want to say it was the Heat, got in a fight, and then someone was chasing after, getting held back.
Oh, that was the Pistons guy.
Oh, Pistons, yes.
Yeah, remember that guy that got elbowed in the eye, and LeBron inadvertently elbowed him, and he started bleeding, and he just lost it. I forget the dude's name off the top of my eyes. I forget the guy's name.
Honestly, a Jokic brother can get involved in the chokehold too.
Yeah.
The third part, like a tag team match where you.
That's all I'm asking for. I'm just saying, can we get one for Draymond? Can Draymond get one of those?
I'm here for sure. Lakers get a big win last night. They shoot the lights out. They don't play a ton of minutes. AD's great on the defensive end. You had an interesting question about AD that I want to get into when we come back. That's next. It's Travis Slee, 710 ESPN. Big news. Next Gen is the official AC Heat and Plumbing Company of SoCal Sports Fan. That's right. Next Gen is the absolute best in the business. They've got thousands of 5-star reviews online to prove it, including mine. Had the guys from Next Gen come out to my house, look at my whole system, and I feel great knowing that I'm set up and ready to go for the rest of the year. And right now, you can get a 28-point full heat and AC safety inspection and tune-up just $44. That's right, only $44 to ensure that your system stays running strong all year long, and they'll even throw in a free air filter at no extra charge. And this is the time of year. AC one day, heat the next. So you got to make sure that both of them are running at their absolute best. And if you're sick of dealing with a slow drain, how about a drain cleaning with camera inspection? Also just $44. Just call 833-3NEXTGEN. That's 833-3NEXGEN and say goodbye to all of your AC, heating, and plumbing problems. Again, 833-3NEXGEN or visit nextgenaironplumbing.com to schedule online.
Every
All right, guys, it's officially back. Fifth Row Fridays presented by BBGO.
That's the official game day snack of the Lakers, by the way. And this is the best thing we give away. Fifth row seats to a Laker game. How many times do people come up to us and say, hey, give me Laker tickets?
Yes.
We don't have them. I don't even have them, but you can win them if you listen every day.
And these seats are better than the seats that you and Michael have, right?
15 rows better.
Yeah.
Michael and I are like row 20. So here's how you win. You listen every day to all the shows and take notes. If you can answer 5 questions about what happened on the show that day, you're eligible to win.
And don't forget, on Fridays, your chance to call in all 5 right answers, and you are in the fifth row at Crypto.com Arena for a Lakers game.
For free!
Gen ESPN.
Every day when you're walking down the street, everybody that you meet.
An amazing theme song, by the way. One of the better theme songs in children's TV. But yeah, I look like Arthur. My older sister was DW for 5 years as a child. We had a lot of Arthur on the household. It's a good outfit.
You do have. I put it to this. It's been a long time since I've seen Arthur. I would have never got the Arthur vibe from you today, but now that you've pointed it out,
Great
it's all I can see.
Reggae feel to this song.
Yeah, it's a good show.
It's a classic theme song. Get you happy. It's great.
It's wonderful.
But yes, look up DW disc compilations on YouTube,
She's
and
sassy.
it's amazing. She's very sassy, very funny.
She was sassy for sure. Ask Travis coming up today, Slee. I don't know if you know that or not, but we got an Ask Trav coming up about just a little bit less than a half an hour.
Probably 90% food questions.
Like I said, food and just nonsense are kind of my area of expertise.
Well, here's what I sent out on top of the tweet you did. I said, need some questions on the fruit cart, taco truck, sleeping in the nude, Costco, etc.
Yes.
Right? I mean, that kind of covers...
Whatever you want to know.
That covers a lot.
Can I do an early one?
Please.
Okay, so Chris isn't here. Chris isn't here. If you did have to share a bed with Chris, for some reason you had to share a bed, you're traveling somewhere like he is going to have a situation in Yamava tomorrow.
Yep, I sleep in the hallway.
There is a king-size bed.
Yeah.
Do you share the king-size bed together, you sleep face-to-face, butt-to-butt, or do you, because there's not enough pillows to make a fort, or do you ask for a cot?
No, I would share the bed.
Okay.
I would share the bed. Yeah, those cots are not great.
Right.
They're super uncomfortable. A king-size bed's a big bed. I think would be all right. I
wouldn't find your space.
I wouldn't be enthusiastic about it, but of the options that you've
do you have some
presented to
pillow
me,
talk talking shop?
and it's definitely cheek to cheek, right?
Yeah.
It's definitely I don't need to wake up in the middle of the night and have my eyes crack open and Chris's face is 6 inches away from me. I don't need.
If they had just like a little one of the office chairs, because you got a little desk kind of by the window.
Oh yeah,
I would just sleep on that chair.
Put your feet up on the bed and just lean
and
back
I'd
in the
put
chair.
the desk in between the bed and my chair.
It's been a minute since I've been in that situation. When I was traveling one summer between my sophomore and junior year of college, I played baseball in the Jayhawk League, which is you go around these teeny tiny towns throughout like Iowa, Missouri, and all those places. And 4 people to a room. And you were lucky if you got to share, because usually the hotel rooms or motel rooms had one bed, so you were fighting to share that bed, or you had the cot, or sometimes the floor. So it's I'm an experienced veteran in the
when
bed sharing game.
We were younger, we used to always go up to that's actually timing is perfect, but we used to always go up to Monterey for Thanksgiving. We had one family member, actually my cousin Sliwa, right? Their family lived up in Monterey, and you'd have they had as like a basic as a home is you get 3 bed, 2 bath, 1,200 square feet. That's like if I said what's a basic home, that's probably the definition of basic home. We would cram. I'm not kidding here. We'd probably have 18, 20 people in
That's
there.
a lot of people. That's a lot of people.
And you know what's kind of crazy about it? And we were younger, but everyone was kind of okay with it. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of the weird thing. Everyone was okay with it.
If we're telling stories, and this kind of goes together. So my mom is one of 9 kids, okay? And so all of her brothers and sisters would always come to my grandmother's house, their parents' house, for Christmas.
Yeah.
Okay? So as my mom and her siblings got older, they would all have husbands and wives and children, right? So we would have upwards of 40 or 50 people on Thanksgiving. There was literally no one. People were sleeping in the hallways. People were sleeping on every couch and every bed. They were farmed out to neighbors in the neighborhood. Like, hey, do you have a spare room where we can put up a couple of people? It looked
farmed out.
It looked like a flop house because there were just people sleeping everywhere. If there was an empty piece of floor, somebody was sleeping on it. It was crazy.
We had me and cousin Sliwa had the laundry room.
You know what?
Yeah.
You win.
No,
we didn't have anybody in the laundry room.
We had the laundry room, and my aunt, like at 11, decided, I'm going to turn the wash. Like she literally had clothes in the laundry. She's like, look, there's a lot of people here. We're trying to keep everything clean. Got everything else. I'm like, okay, well, we'll go ahead and hang out right here.
One time thinking about this, so on my drive out here from Connecticut to here, I drove with my dad, and so I don't normally sleep in the same room with my dad. So props to my mom, but he snores so loudly. And again, I'm not used to having someone else in my room.
Sure.
And I'm a light sleeper. And so I literally slept in the bathtub of a hotel because I could not stand my dad snoring as loud as he was. I couldn't sleep.
Okay, look, you're not the tallest person I've ever met in my life, but you're longer than a bathtub. How could you sleep in the tub?
You scrouch in. I scrouch anyway.
Gosh.
Yeah, you just put a bunch of pillows in there and it's fine.
Isn't it freezing cold in there?
You can bring a blanket in.
Oh,
I like that we all have something where it's kind of similar. And I will say this, kind of looking back on it, I think everybody was like, yeah, it was kind of fun.
I didn't know any better because by the time I knew better, we had stopped doing those massive family get-togethers, but there are 40, 50 people in there. If you've had to sleep in a tub or in the laundry room, go ahead and hit us up, 877-710-ESPN.
Or anywhere worse.
Anywhere worse is even better. Jorge, you laundry room, you ever slept in there?
Not in the laundry room,
Tub?
but no.
Okay.
This is gonna sound stupid, but funny at the same time. The pantry.
That's a big pantry if you can
like a walk-in pantry.
Yeah.
That's not bad because you got food everywhere.
It's dark.
You get snacks.
No, but it was family who came over. We have family in Denver. We have family like in different states. So they came over. I remember for the holidays. I was in high school. And, I was being nice. My aunt and uncle, hey, you guys can go and sleep in our room. My cousins, they can sleep in the living room. And where are you going to sleep? And I could put a bunch of blankets inside this pantry. No, dude, but that's going to be weird. I'm like, oh, cool. I'll sleep next to the spaghetti. No problem. No big deal. So I slept in the pantry.
I can just picture myself at Jorge's house going over to, like, it's lit and late. A little PB&J before we call it a night. Open up the pantry. Good night, Jorge. Make a little sandwich, close the door, and you're just knocked out in there.
I'm eating oats.
Yeah, rice, oats, crackers, all this stuff.
Granola.
Granola.
Pop-Tarts,
I see some guy right now, so I'm going to Airbnb my pantry.
Yeah,
I've had place.
Good rates. 877-710-ESPN. If you've, I think the pantry might be the worst. Laundry room, pantry, laundry room, tub. I don't know. I guess it's at least confined. You could.
I like the farm.
You could snuggle into the tub.
I like the farm system with your family, just farming out people.
Hey, how many beds you got that are not being? Neighbors are like, what? Like you just.
Also, the only benefit to me, there isn't any benefit really, but I had COVID last Thanksgiving, so I was in South.
You got sent away.
I was in South Carolina, but the only positive So my aunt has a lake house, and that's where we were for Thanksgiving. And there's a guest house, and then there's the main house. And the main house has 2 master bedrooms. And I was not supposed to be in the master bedroom. I was actually supposed to go to my parents. Okay, so like, once they found out that I have COVID, they sequestered me into the second master bedroom, and honestly, it's the best day I've ever had. I mean, besides having COVID, I have my own bedroom.
Having a potentially lethal disease, everything was wonderful.
I have my own balcony. I could like hang out with my family once I felt a little better on the balcony. It was pretty great.
I don't think I'd do well isolated. Like, even if I were like people downstairs, like knowing there were things going on down there, I'd want to go see what's up.
Oh yeah, no,
Emily could just smell the food probably too, right? Like, I want to go down there and see what else is going on. Lakers, they killed a bad team last night, which is exactly what they're supposed to do, right? Memphis is only won a couple of games. They don't have Ja Morant. Marcus Smart left with an injury early.
Yep.
And Lakers shot the lights out. They shot, 63%?
63% from 3.
They made and not like they made 2 out of 3. They made 22 threes. That's
incredible.
They're great. AD was really good, especially on the defensive side. And you were just kind of talking about AD and where we are in his kind of story arc of his Laker career.
So I think look, here we are. Anthony Davis has had 2 runs with the Lake Show in the playoffs. The 2 runs that he was healthy for, Lakers made it. They won an NBA Finals in the bubble, and then they got to the Western Conference Finals last year against the Denver Nuggets. A lot of the verbiage I hear around Anthony Davis. I'm going to use last night as an example. It's not like last night was that big of a deal. He had 6 blocks yesterday. Okay, AD is incredible on the defensive side, but I feel like the times we talk about Anthony Davis more as Laker fans, it's usually about something negative. Every time that we talk about Anthony Davis, he's injured again. Oh, AD's not playing the second of a back-to-back.
Didn't take any shots.
Oh, AD's second half against the Denver Nuggets, where the hell did he go? And then when he has all these moments or stretches where he plays good basketball, I guess the question is he underappreciated? That he's supposed to be a franchise player for you. He's supposed to be the guy that give me the keys to the franchise, which, by the way, he's handed them back to LeBron. It's like, I don't want him. I'm not ready for him. Or, you know what? I'm not a franchise player. I'm a player to an extent, but I'm not going to be the best player for a championship team. I think that's an interesting conversation, how Lakers feel about that.
I like that a lot. I want to get Laker fans' thoughts on it because I think underappreciated is exactly the right question to ask. We'll do that. Plus, we already got people sleeping in weird places.
So
we're gonna take those phone calls. All coming up. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
I want to introduce you to Pizza Hut's new $7 Deal Lovers menu. Tons of your favorite Pizza Hut faves starting at just $7 each. The $7 Deal Lovers menu only from Pizza Hut. You can order now and earn rewards for your next free pizza on the Pizza Hut app or at pizzahut.com. Something to keep in mind every time they bring Pizza Hut in here. It's obviously fantastic, but the Deal Lovers menu, you got so many different options. You got so many great items, and of course, it's from Pizza Hut. Make sure, earn your rewards for your next free Pizza Hut on the Pizza Hut app or at pizzahut.com. Product availability, prices, and participation vary.
The biggest show.
the fire in a room that I send me for purge. But I can't do it alone.
You said a little reggae, so a little reggae.
This is Sleazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is Chronics.
Is it?
Yeah.
I believe you.
I know he knows. I know you don't know, too.
What do you mean?
Well, not you.
Chronics with 2 X's.
Yeah, well, duh. But one X isn't going to do the trick, and 3 means something entirely different. So you can only go with 2. You either got to do 2 or 4.
It could be 4.
Yeah,
Could be 4.
4 is like, I think
Could
it's a
be 4.
typo.
All caps.
4 would feel like a typo. 3 is not going to happen. All right, so I don't even know how we got on it, but end up sleeping in weird places. You slept on the laundry room floor at Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Jorge slept in the pantry. Emily slept in a bathtub. And I think for me,
this was all just one weekend that we all went out.
You know, like a bus. Think like a Greyhound bus.
Mm-hmm.
We would take this bus from city to city. That's the wrong word. Town to town.
Yeah.
In the summer, and you would drive through the night to get to the next town to play baseball. Well, I can't sleep sitting up, so I had to lay in the middle aisle of the bus. It's like 10,000 degrees down there as the bus is going,
gosh.
and it's noisy because that's where all the stuff is happening.
Mm-hmm.
It's not great. So that's the list so far. Let's try Mike in Agoura Hills. Mike, you're on with Trav and Slee. What's up, Mike?
Hey, gentlemen, how are you guys?
Great.
So here's my story. I have a buddy, and his family owned a bar in Ventura in our 20s. So we'd go to Ventura for the weekend, 15 guys in one hotel room. I was on the floor. Best part, my buddy's Doc Martens shoe was my pillow.
At least it's a big shoe.
Okay, so was this a conscious choice to use a Doc Martens shoe as a pillow, or is this because your other buddy owned a bar, you ended up on top of a Doc Martens shoe?
I don't remember, but the best part of it was he was in the shoe, and I was laying on his foot and the shoe because I was next to him, and he's like 6'5".
Well, there you go. Friends helping friends.
Sounds beautiful.
Gave you a nice little pillow.
Yeah.
There you go. Thank you, Mike.
And lastly,
Yeah.
I'm Mike from Agoura Hills. Sleeping bag, brand new, ground, drive away, and drunk dad playing drums at brother's wedding wouldn't get off drum set.
Oh, yes. I remember that story.
Well done, Mike. Thank you. All right, let's try another one. Huntington Beach this time. And Brent, you're on with Trav and Slee.
Good morning, guys. How are we doing today?
Good, Brent.
So, ironically, the number is exactly the same, but in college I was in a fraternity, and me and 15 of my pledge brothers went to Vegas for a weekend, and we were obviously not exactly as well off as we are now, so we had to kind of split one room. And when we went up to check at the hotel, we all at that point had shaved our heads to show as a pledge class of one, and all wearing the same T-shirts. So it kind of a little culty.
Yeah,
so when we went up to check in, yeah, a little bit. And the clerk was looking at us four, because 4 of us went up, and the other 12 were in the back, just standing there. He looked at us, looked at the guys in the back, looked at us. How he let us check in, I have absolutely no idea. He said, "How many in the room?" We're like, 4. And he's like, "Really?"
4 times 4.
And, yeah. And it was just kind of ironic because now I work at a hotel. And if that same situation would have come up, I was like, no.
Not a chance.
Not
Brett,
a chance. No,
let me ask you this.
Not my hotel.
Let me ask you this. How long ago were you guys 16 in one room? Is this 5 years ago, 10, 20 years ago? How long ago?
Oh, year of our Lord, 2009.
Okay, so roughly 15 years or so ago?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you split a hotel room 16 ways to save on some money. I get that. What about cutting it 8 ways? Get 2 rooms.
See, that probably wouldn't have been a smart idea, but someone came up with the idea of putting it in one room, and at that time,
the Excel spreadsheet.
Honestly, that's boy
P&L
math I've
that
ever
they
heard.
had right
That's
there.
such boy math.
It was a bunch of freshmen and sophomores in college, and we thought it was a good idea at the time.
Profit and
luckily,
loss.
somehow I finagled a little part of the bed, so I actually kind of made out on the deal.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, that was an interesting weekend.
Good job, Brett. Thanks for the call.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah. Look, I understand that economics play a massive factor in this, but I would skip lunches for a while before I'm sleeping 16 across on the
Yeah, I
floor.
don't know how they did that.
That's a lot.
extreme.
Sleeping on a shoe.
That's extreme.
I just got a text. The reason you slept in the pantry is because we had watched a video, and in this video, the pantry would open by it. It was like a ghost video, haunted video.
Oh.
And they dared me to sleep in the pantry because I was like, that's bogus. I don't believe that.
Then
we'll go ahead and sleep in the pantry. But in this video, I'll send it to you guys. This video, the pantry door opens, and you hear a squeak. as it opens every freaking time. So somebody bought a new house, put a camera in front of the pantry, and they recorded at 12:03 or 12:05 every night. According to this video, the pantry door opened by itself.
On its own.
On its own. So they were like, oh, it's a haunted house. So not the one where I'm staying at, but the video that we were watching. So they dared me to sleep in the pantry. So that's how I ended up sleeping in the pantry.
Maybe it's a portal to Narnia. Did you ever think about that?
No, that's a closet or a dresser.
It's a wardrobe.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes, thank you.
The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
I knew there was a way into Narnia. I just had forgotten which piece of furniture it was.
Through the wardrobe.
That's right.
That's
it's a
not bad.
wardrobe. It's a wardrobe. So, Slee, your question about Anthony Davis being underappreciated, I think is I really like the phrasing because I think it depends on what you thought he was going to be when he got here. For me, I've had like an Anthony Davis journey. When the Lakers were rumored to be getting him, it was, oh my gosh, if they get him, forget about it. That he was one of the best players in the league and was going to be for a very long time. They get him. It hits.
The trajectory, too, of what he's going to be.
It hits, and the reason they won the NBA championship in the bubble was because Anthony Davis was awesome. So was LeBron, but AD was exactly what you hoped he was going to be. Exactly. And so not only did you get the perfect running mate for LeBron, but you got the guy that was ascending to become one of the best players in the league. Since then, that hasn't happened. And the graph has kind of tipped back the other way. He's still really good, but I think I don't underappreciate him now because my expectation of who he is has changed. He's never going to be the best player on a championship team. He could be a big part of a championship team.
Yep, already done that.
He's going to be a very good player for a very long time. But this idea of, from Magic Johnson to Shaquille O'Neal to Kobe Bryant to LeBron James to Anthony No, it's going to have to be somebody else in that role. It's not going to be him, and that's okay. That doesn't mean that he's bad. It doesn't mean that he's anything other than not one of the 5 best guys in the league. There are only a very small handful of those guys along the way. So if you're judging him relative to what it looked like when he first popped, I think people are going to be disappointed, and they're going to underappreciate what they're getting right now. But if you've made the switch like I have where, okay, he's not a top 5 guy, but he's a top 15 guy, and that's a pretty damn good guy to have on your team, I don't think he's underappreciated. I think he's perfectly appreciated, which is you'd wish it was a little bit better, but this is pretty damn good.
Do you think from the masses, if you're asking Laker fans out there, did you get what you think you were going to get when you traded for him? And has he accomplished – he's still, look, the guy's – what is he, 30? I might be less. Whatever he is, he's still got a lot of years in front of him, hopefully, and health being a big part of that. I think that's the part where I pause for a second because do you agree or disagree when we talk about Anthony Davis, typically it's not highlighting something great that he's done. It's more talking about a lack of.
But yes, but because of the reasons I mentioned, because you're still comparing him to that version we saw right when he got here. Because comparing this version to that version, it is going to come up a little short. But comparing him to a good player, a very good player, a borderline great player, he's not.
So then is it safe by definition to say he's been less than you thought when he came over?
My initial expectation,
but
yes.
I think a lot of people's initial expectation is your expectation. Because he was
but
always
not anymore for me personally.
He was always supposed to be like, why wouldn't he be in a conversation with Giannis and Embiid and Joker? He's
probably ahead of those guys at that point.
At that point, he was the second best player. According to ESPN, number 1 and number 2, they had Anthony Davis there. And I don't know, I guess the question is how does that perception change with him? Because this is what we do know. If he's healthy, they got a chance to win the whole thing. If he's not, they don't have a chance to win the whole thing. He's been 4 years so far with the Lakers. This is his 5th. 2 years he's healthy, they get to the finals, and they win it. They get to the Western Conference Finals. The other 2 years he wasn't healthy. So we all know what needs to happen when he is there. But the reason I think maybe why this triggered for me, at least in this conversation, it's just so easy to pass off. 6 blocks yesterday, and it was so easy to say, yeah, but did you see Rui? But I guess that's what happens with greats because there's a lot of times Bron will have a triple-double. He'll go 30, 12, and 12, and I want to talk about how Cam Reddish had 18. And maybe it just has more to do with that, but
he's measured against, are you one of the best players in the league? And almost everybody's going to come up short with that. And you have to be nearly one of the best players in the league to even be in the conversation. And for a moment, he was one of the best players in the league. Now he's just in that next group.
But it's his high highs is what we've
exactly.
Again, we've seen this high, and that's what we want to see, and we see flashes.
Exactly, but he's not like.
But the flashes are there consistently.
They are.
It's when it's not there that it's.
But there's just enough non-flashes that LeBron at his best really didn't have. Steph at his best really doesn't have them. Giannis at his best really. Jokic, like
those are the ones to compare.
We're talking about 5 or 6 guys in the whole league, and to say he's not that is not saying he sucks. He's just,
but we walked in with kind of that expectation.
He was that for the very first part of it, and that's why I think it depends on what your my expectations for him right now. He's exactly what I'm hoping he is, which is really good most of the time.
I mean, go back to like what the first game of the season, second game of the season when he had 0 points in the second half, and you were shocked and you weren't shocked. That's kind of goes to the same thing. We all have you guys have different views of who Anthony Davis is, I think.
I've just changed mine over the course of the last few years.
Part of the comp that I think might be the best one is you never thought Pau Gasol was the franchise player.
No.
But you also weren't going to win anything
right.
without Pau Gasol. And they're different players. It's not like they're identical. Obviously, what AD does on the other side, they're different.
AD's best is different than Pau's best,
I agree.
best. And it's more, holy blank, look at that guy.
I agree. But I also think you never thought, and this is the case more similar, I think, with Anthony Davis, I don't think you ever thought, hey, Pau's going to go be the best player on the championship team. No, you know what Pau was in Memphis? He was what AD was in New Orleans. It's not that much different in the sense of you have your ceiling of what you can reach.
Is he underappreciated? 877-710-ESPN. But coming up next, ask me. I like saying that. Ask Travis. That's next on Travis Slee, 710 ESPN.
All right, November is such an important month for giving and finding ways to be a part of the community. No big surprise here. Sierra Subaru of Monrovia, such a big fan of what they do for the local community through their Subaru Love Promise initiatives. Sierra Subaru is teaming up with Foothill Unity Center, Neighbors Helping Neighbors initiative, now through November 20th. Join them in helping to make Thanksgiving brighter by dropping off canned foods to support the Sierra Subaru team to help prepare and distribute Thanksgiving baskets to neighbors in need. I'm going to be doing this over the next week or so. We really, really should use this time of month, especially as we get to the holidays. What are ways that we can help others if you're in a position to do it? Sierra Subaru is doing it every single month. I encourage you to go down to the dealership. Please help out. Even if it's not for Sierra Subaru Monrovia, then find another charity that you want to help. And Sierra Subaru Monrovia obviously will embrace what you're doing within the community. Go to sierrasubaru.com for more information or visit them just off the 210 and 605 freeway. That's sierrasubaru.com.
Sedano. The return of $1 Million Mondays.
$1 Million Mondays.
Your chance to win $1 million from 710 ESPN.
Listen every Monday this football season for your chance at $1 million. $1 Million Mondays.
Presented by Hollywood Park Casino. Eat, drink, play.
Listen every Monday to 710 ESPN. When you hear the cue to call, be caller number 7. Give us your Super Bowl prediction. Both teams and the final score, and you could be winning $1 million this football season on LA's $1 Million Mega Sports Station. 710 ESPN. Wednesday, Friday at 10:45. Ask Slee. And Ask Slee is presented by our friends at Harrah's Resort SoCal. Find your funner state of mind with a visit to Harrah's Resort SoCal. Voted best resort in funner California. From dining to unwinding, you'll find fun around every corner. Learn more at harrahssocal.com. Let's get to it. Ask Slee right now.
I like it better when I get to ask you the Ask Slees and then criticize your answers as opposed to being the one that has to answer first.
Well, I like it better, too, because I don't have to do anything, and now I got to organize everything.
Hey, is this Chronics? I'm just playing.
I think it is, with 5 X's.
5 X's. Yeah. Okay, so we're doing Ask Trav. If you guys want to be a part of it on the phone, 877-710-3776. I'll start this off, and we'll go a little round table here. So, Trav, there's a lot of good ones here, but let's go Cap from Whittier. If you were a chef, would you rather cook in a restaurant, in a taco truck, or be a bartender? So he's got a little one. Let's say you own a spot. Of these 3 that you'd rather do, you want to cook in a restaurant, or in a taco truck, or be a bartender? What's of those 3?
Bartender is dead last because it's so hard to be a bartender, and you got to work late and all this. So bartender, I'm out on. Chef in a restaurant, I don't have the chops. Right, I can make a few things. One of the things I can make is tacos, and then you can kind of move around to different spots. I'm going taco truck because I feel like that would be my most to not end up not being a chef. I think I could.
It's so hot in there.
None of these are easy. They're all hard jobs.
But I'm with you that like if there's a elaborate menu and here you are trying to do this and do that, and somebody comes in and they complain of this or that. There's a lot. At least the taco truck.
I got
it's pretty basic what you got here to do.
4 types of tacos. I'm going to make 3 or 4 different types of salsas, a guacamole, slice my limes,
blast
and be
music.
ready to go. Blast music.
You know, my only concern of why he would lose his job
I'd eat myself
is
to
the
death.
amount of food he would eat from other people's tacos.
There's 5 guys in a taco truck.
Jorge, what do you got there?
I worked the taco truck before. I'll tell you guys a story quick.
Well, okay, you've had my taco. Would I make a living as a taco guy?
Oh, no, yeah, for sure.
Okay.
We had the meat, you marinated it, right, for whatever, overnight, whatever it was. But it was good. But yeah, I worked at a taco truck, 5 guys. All right, so Christopher Holmes says, hold on, we got to play this.
Hey, what's up, Holmes?
There you go. All right, so if you can go to a concert, you have to go to a reggae concert with Slee, Taylor Swift concert with Emily, or a Bad Bunny. He said Vicente Fernandez, but he's dead. So I'll say Bad Bunny concert with me.
I already know
Where
the
would you
answer.
go?
Reggae's out.
Yeah.
That's last.
Okay.
Bad Bunny's great.
Bad Bunny is great, but honestly, I think I would choose Taylor Swift for one very specific reason.
Just to see what happens.
To get the experience?
Yeah,
Yes.
to see
that's
everybody
fair.
go crazy.
Just to see if I'm the crazy person, right? Just to see because
Or you get hypnotized.
perhaps, right? I'm saying because when I watch Taylor Swift, when I listen to her music, there's some of it that is fine. There's some of it that I could take it or leave it. But people's passion for that is completely lost.
Next
on me.
level.
So getting immersed in that passion for a night would be interesting to me.
And just to warn you, you may get hypnotized. She may go. She does a song called Mastermind. She points at everybody, and she might be a witch.
Yeah, but
Who
I
knows?
see.
Who knows?
I see
feel
Trav,
like I might be immune to the witchcraft, but
Oh,
you
no,
never
Trav.
know.
You
You
never
never
know.
know.
I see you coming in as almost like a investigative
An
journalist.
anthropologist.
Just a curiosity of like what is happening here. I'm gonna come in here completely open-minded, but I can almost see you having like a pen and like this notepad that you have here. I see you
my
taking
pad.
notes.
I got my pad.
during the concert.
I would do it more of my brain side. If I just wanted to go have a great time, we're going to Bad Bunny.
Right.
Yeah,
and don't worry, I would also I would tell you all the secrets. I would have you all do all
Would
the
you
things.
hook me up with the wristbands?
I get you the friendship bracelets. Come on, Travis.
Sorry, okay. See, I've already made a full
And I would
pop.
teach you all the chants you say back. You know, it's all great. Again, witchcraft. So I'm gonna go with Jason Torres as mine. So also Jason, I saw that you went to a Laker game last night and you had awesome seats. You posted about it in the community. It looked awesome. It was not for Fifth Row Fridays, I don't believe, but you could get them with Fifth Row Fridays. Just listen to Mason Island all week. But Jason says, as they currently stand, rank the Rogers children.
Kelly is number one.
How long has she been number one? Has she had the ranking for all season?
No. No, these are like very these are like college basketball.
I was going to say, is she
Even
Georgia?
The college football playoffs right now. There's a little movement.
College basketball, the number one team loses like 8 games a year, right? So they're all over the place. So Kelly is currently number one because she's taking care of her business. Michael's perpetually grumpy, so he and Bobby are tied for third. Second is currently vacant. So yeah, we've got
Do you ever
a
have
number one
like
seed.
do you ever have you see in the NBA
Like if you had an
they
animal,
always,
it might go in there.
in the NBA they always leave a roster spot open.
Yes,
this
I
is
have
kind
a-
of
I have an open
strategically
spot.
you leave a roster
Yeah,
spot open.
yeah.
Okay, do you want something associated with the Draymond Green situation, or do you want something associated with fast food?
Food.
I'm gonna help with this one because I
I
can't.
thought for sure you're going to ask the Draymond Green question anyway.
Okay, actually, let me just real quick. Here, okay? Ride or die. Who you riding? You're going to a fight, war, whatever it is.
Okay.
Charles Oakley, Ron Artest, Steven Adams, or Draymond Green.
Charles Oakley.
That's a good one. I'm not gonna argue that.
Charles Oakley is like 60-something,
Yeah,
and he's still the right choice.
and still looking for.
Yeah,
he's still looking for problems.
He's still the right guy.
Okay, Francis in Glendale says this: if you could pick the perfect fast food burger combo, but I'm going to take In-N-Out out of the mix because I think that one is just such an easy one already. So here's what he's asking: where would you order the burger,
Okay.
fries, and shake from? But I have to take In-N-Out out because
Okay.
then it's not a question.
Yeah, no, In-N-Out would
It's
be
the best.
the first burger choice. My
and
burger
you could
choice,
separate them.
I'm actually going to go 2 from the same spot and
Okay.
then 1 from a very. The burger and the shake that I want is from the Habit. Okay. Santa Barbara company. They started in Santa Barbara, so I got a little Santa Barbara love for them. And their char burger is legit.
Do you consider them fast food? I feel like they're like
quick service.
If
do you
they
sit
hand you
down?
food through a window on the
Yeah.
driveway, it's a fast food.
Yeah.
And the only reason why I ask is
Yeah.
because it's better.
It is better.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
look, if there's a drive-through, it's a
Is-
fast food restaurant.
I agree with that. Even
Yeah.
like because Chili's now has drive-thrus, and now they're fast food.
Yeah, if you don't have to get out of your car to get your stuff, I think it qualifies.
Okay, so Habit you got from there.
The burger, they're the double char with cheese and grilled onions. That's the choice. And then they make incredible shakes. Their shakes are the best I've had just about anywhere. Fantastic.
More underappreciated, their shake or Anthony Davis?
Oh, the shake is
shake.
deeply underappreciated. And the fries, super mainstream, but McDonald's. Yeah. I'd love
Solid
McDonald's fries. And if you had to go a little bit off, then Del Taco fries slide in number 2.
Solid. I got from G Fish, your bud, your spotter.
Uh-oh.
He says, "Can the foundation for a friendship be solely that one person likes the flappers and the other person likes the drumsticks?"
Yes.
Hashtag Ask Travis.
It's perfect. Look, some people don't have a wing choice, right? If you get the drummies, that's fine. If you get the flapper, that's fine. But other people, like myself, have a very specific preference. I like the flappers, right? I like the little twist and pull. You get the whole thing off in one bite. The drummy, you got to nibble around. It's got that fat grizzle thing at the top on every
Don't
wing.
describe it like that.
Well,
'cause
that's
now
what it
you're
is.
Taking away from
'Cause
my
But also
enjoyment.
sometimes the crunch is at the top too.
Yeah, but that little.
Sometimes you
that-
don't know.
that-
It's
no.
a
Also, the
mystery.
drumstick is the best for dipping, honestly, in my opinion, into a sauce. But you're not as big of a ranch.
I'm not
blue
as
cheese
big of a
person.
person, but that little nugget of grizzle at the top of the drummy, I'm not a fan of that. I can muscle through it. So if you
Yeah.
found somebody that just likes the drummies and the other person just likes the flats, it's a pretty good
marriage.
start. It's a pretty good start.
What do you got, Jorge?
All right, one more.
Last one.
Philly Phil says, you invite one of your kids' friends on a family vacation. Do you expect their friends, that kid's parents, to pay for anything?
No,
Okay.
no. If we're if we're extending the hey, come with us and we're gonna go have no. You are a guest of the Rogers family and come and enjoy accordingly. Especially because I'm not charging my kids. Why would I charge? You know what I mean? Like, come along. We've done that.
Start
And
charging everybody.
Yeah, no, and it's always better to bring you. Look, here's the thing. I'm not going to name any names. However, let's just say there's one particular child in your family that really kind of draws a lot of attention and can be the source of conflict with many other people. It's better if that person has somebody to pair off with and go do not their own thing, but with them. But it kind of neutralizes the potential conflicts.
My
along
family
the way.
has that as well.
Most do, Em. Most do. I'm not saying mine does. I'm just saying that most do. And
Does that kid go into the second spot?
the kid from the other family
Yes.
could go into
Yes,
the second.
exactly. That's what I meant.
Yes, that's.
So just so
they
you
get
know,
the number 2 ranking.
You know how we usually do our bonus asked Lee. There's a lot of good bonus, so we'll sprinkle them in as we go through the show.
I don't know if you know this about me or not, but I do like talking about myself.
I did not know that. I did not know that.
I have found it.
New information.
I enjoy talking about myself a lot. Andrew Friedman was on a podcast talking about Corey Seager, and I don't like the answer. That's coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN. And for the ones who get it done, Grainger offers high-quality supplies and solutions for every industry, as well as access to product specialists who have the knowledge and experience to answer your toughest questions. Plus, their commitment to being your safety partner can help you keep your facility safe and your people safer. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by.
Big news, Laker fans. John Ireland here. You can now stream every Lakers game on the ESPN LA app. Don't miss a second of the action with Michael Thompson and I on the call. Plus, all your live and local Lakers talk every day in the palm of your hand.
You're one tap away from everything Lakers.
You could even win Lakers tickets.
Download the ESPN LA app. And bam!
Download the ESPN LA app at the App Store and Google Play.
I don't
Great
know.
question.
Travis and Sliwa.
On 710 ESPN.
So I walked down to the kitchen during the break there to refill my water glass, and Stephanie Alexander, who is the unsung hero of the year at the Mandy's.
Yes.
She was in the spot that now I check every time specifically for her. So you know where the vending machines are, and there's that the microwave and the toaster are kind of over there.
Yeah.
The other morning, I walked over there, and she was kind of in that little space right there. I did not see her. I just was headed straight.
She was using the toaster.
Yes, I was headed straight for the
you didn't
ice
see her?
machine.
Yeah.
Didn't see her at all.
You
Walked right
farted.
past her. No,
No.
not that. Thankfully, it was not. I didn't see her, and it was early. It
Did
was
you
like
kick the ice
7:15.
under?
No, she just goes, "Good morning." I nearly jumped out of my skin.
You've done that to me before, too.
I know, and I don't like being scared. I don't like scaring other people. So now every time I walk around there, I very quickly look into
Take
the
a look
corner,
at the
and she
corner.
was there again right now. And I said, "You didn't get me this time," because it was just a couple of days ago. She nearly, and I think her line was, "Don't die on me," which means she was
Yeah.
worried. At least for half a second, she was worried about
I think there's a thing right now going on around the radio station that you love being scared.
Ugh.
So there's a lot of people now hiding in places.
It'll turn into Ellen show.
Somebody might be under your desk as we speak. They will grab your ankle.
I like my fighting chance from down there. That's fine.
Boogly, boogly, remember? Boogly, boogly, boogly. You remember that story?
Keyshawn, where from upstairs yelled
Throwing his
"Oogly,
shoe.
boogly, oogly, boogly," trying to scare whoever he thought was in his house. Wasn't it one of the kids or Jen
I
or
don't
something?
know, but he threw his shoe.
Yeah, threw a shoe
to
from
throw him off.
upstairs. Oogla, boogla, oogla, whatever it was. Yeah.
Whatever he said. Boogly, boogly.
Sounds like that was planned last second.
I think if Keyshawn just went, "Hey," I think that whoever it was would have head for the hills, right? All right, let's try Chris in Los Angeles. Chris, you're on with Trav and Slee. What's up, Chris?
Hey, guys. Travis, you were mentioning, greatness of AD, and it made me think, I don't know if we've ever experienced that here in L.A., because I can't think of any particular games where the next day I was talking to my friends like, oh, my God, you see him? At least for a stretch period in the bubble, he had a couple of game-winning shots. But for an extended period of time, have we even seen great AD? I don't think so. I think it was before he got to us, but since he's been here, and if if he does have the stats to show that, the fact that I can't think of it, and I watch almost every game and talk basketball with my friends, and I can't think of it, I think that says a lot too. I don't think he's underappreciated. I think he's just a good player, but he's not great.
I think you and I, Chris, are in far more alignment than you may think, because I agree with everything you said except for the first part, and because I do think there was a stretch where he was great, and it was the first year he was here, and it was right before the bubble, and it was in the bubble and during the championship run. He was great. Go back to that. LeBron won the MVP in the finals that year, and good choice, fine. Mm-hmm. Had it gone to Anthony Davis, no one would have even blinked an eye. It would have been like, yeah, cool, AD, good choice. He was terrific through that entire postseason stretch. Because the season was so weird, right, because they shut down for a number of months, because it was played in Florida, and it was just such a bizarre circumstance, I do think it kind of gets lost in the shuffle. He hit the game winner against Denver in that one game to kind of ice that thing and put it away. He was as good as anybody else in the NBA at that point for 6 or 8 weeks. He was terrific. Since then, Chris, everything you said I agree with. He's good, not great. He's occasionally great, but the totality of his career, or his totality of his Laker career since then, has been with some frustration, a lot of missed time, a lot of frustration at, hey, where did he go? And then hey, why can't you do that more often? Because when he is really, really good, it feels like that should be the standard.
Nick Harvey on Twitter, did not get the AD I thought we were going to get. When he was with the Pelicans, I was dying for him, maybe because I didn't see all his games. When I think of specific games, it doesn't have to be the regular season. He's had games where he's had 50 with the Lakers. He's had 55. There was a night, this was in 2022, he had 55, 17, and 3. It's not that he can't have a stat night like that. I think where we probably hesitate sometimes with Anthony Davis is, hey, LeBron is in foul trouble, or hey, he's not playing tomorrow, just picking random things. Does that instantly mean, well, they're fine because they got Anthony Davis? And I think that has happened with LeBron. And again, the players maybe we're comparing to is just not if I said, give me the greatest player in the history of the NBA, and you said LeBron, there's only a couple other names that you're going to mention. Mm-hmm. So that's not the proper comparison.
Right.
But I think there are times with Anthony Davis where I think it goes back to what you said of the expectation. I fully thought when they traded for him, those keys are going to be handed over.
I did too.
At some point, those keys are going to be handed over.
But I don't expect it anymore.
And I thought it was going to be handed over pretty early on because Bron was going into his 18th season or whatever it is, right?
Right.
That hasn't happened, and that's probably been part of the taste.
Yeah, and my expectations have been recalibrated. That's why I don't think he's. I appreciate him for what he is, which is really, really good.
Can I just say one thing to that? I do think there are also plenty of times where he does go underappreciated. I think that there's one side of the floor that we do not pay enough attention about, and when AD's not there, you see they can't play any defense. Him not being there changes everything. And that's just not the flashy side of the floor. That's not the side that everybody's paying attention to. And it's not, I don't want to use the comparison against the Memphis Grizzlies in November. 6 blocks yesterday, and nobody really even said anything about it.
It's just the Memphis Grizzlies in November.
They went 2 for 17 with AD as the closest defender.
I'm teasing. He was terrific.
But what I'm saying is that there are certain things he does that go underappreciated because it's not on the offensive end or whatever the case is.
You know me. I'm a big picture guy. I like to kind of take a step back and look at it from 30,000 feet as opposed to the micro, what happened last night necessarily, what's going to happen tomorrow. Like, what does it feel like? What does it look like? When Shaq was unavailable or got fouled out or whatever, and Kobe was going to have to do it, everybody's like, yeah, we're good, man. we're good.
He was doing it in the freaking playoffs.
There was never oh my gosh, what are we going to do? It's like, Kobe, we got this.
Kobe was doing this to everybody. Everybody relax.
And when LeBron's down, it's is AD going to be okay? Are we going to be? And you're hopeful, but it's not we got this. And obviously their games are very different, but their presence is entirely different. And I'm not even talking about Kobe in the second half of his career. I'm talking about the first half of Kobe's career with Shaq, where it's, hey, even though Shaq is an MVP and Shaq is the most dominating force in the league.
3-time finals MVP in a row.
When he's out, it's like, yeah, Kobe's here. It's cool. We're going to have, and that's never been the case with Anthony Davis other than that first year.
And we could point out specific games. I could tell you against the Pacers in Indiana on the road, Shaq fouls out. Lakers still win that critical. I think it was Game 4. He does it again against the San Antonio Spurs. And I could tell you specific moments in the playoffs, big-time series where the most dominating player in the league has to go to the bench, and Kobe with this – guys, everything's fine. I'm like,
aura.
What do you mean it's fine? You're 22.
Yeah.
Act like it.
It's aura. It's presence. It's I've got this. And Anthony Davis says the right things, but the him actually having it is a little hit and miss. And I think that's what people are feeling, and that's why the underappreciation is there for a good chunk of the time.
Also, why I was kind of surprised that he kind of got into it with the Grizzly player last night. You
liked that, didn't you?
I liked it a little bit. We don't normally see it out of AD. Again, to be the guy, he's not going to be Draymond, obviously. But just to be someone who gets angry, who gets animated, who might make people not want to go up against him. I think something that he could add to his game. To scare people.
There's a scare factor. I think that's exactly the right word, Em. There's a scare factor with him. It's not that he's not talented. It's not that he doesn't play hard. It's this... Oh, damn. Here he comes. Well, there's no when LeBron is in that mode, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. When Jokic, when Kobe, when Giannis, when Embiid, when those guys just let there's no answer for it. Steph, no answer. With AD, you feel like, hold on, let's see how this plays out. And it's a feel thing that may be unfair to him. Maybe it's because of our initial expectation. We've never I feel like I have. I've just give me what you're giving me right now, and I'm good with it. That's good enough to go win again. When LeBron is done, now we got to refigure what it is we're doing here. But this version of Anthony Davis that we've had, they played 11 games?
11 games.
11 games. If you want to give me that 65 times a year, 60 times a year, plus the playoffs, let's go. I will take that to the bank and feel really good about it.
Emily, I'm with you on the pushing part. If it wasn't Santi Aldama.
Right.
He pushed...
That's all of it, right?
If he pushed Steven Adams or if he pushed Draymond Green, and then when Desmond Bane came up to him, then I'm making an executive decision to get out of the way. Have you seen the dude's arms? How does he have...
Who was the guy that trained as a boxer for? I think he played for the
Heat. Played for the Heat.
Yeah,
was it a boxer or was he
an MMA guy? Or he was like
an MMA guy
fighter.
Yeah.
And
the conversation would come up like, "Hey, who would win in a fight?" I'm like, "No,
that guy."
Don't do that.
Yeah, that guy for sure. Let's try another one. James Torrance, you're up next. James, what's going on?
Hey, thank you for taking my call. I love the show. Honestly speaking, you guys are the highlight of my day. Besides my family, but you guys are the highlight of my day.
That's nice of you to say, James. Thank you.
AD, I actually see him closer to a 15 than a 10. I just, as you guys were talking, I was going through the list of guys in the league, and I didn't have them in any order. It's just guys that are important to their team, guys that make moments that are memorable. If they're not the main guy, we know AD is like the second to LeBron, but he's not a good second. He's just he was never ready to take the keys when LeBron was set to retire, whenever that was going to be, and we don't know who that guy is going to be until we find out. But he's just not a reliable player, and that push on the guy last night, I didn't like it at all because I think the guy just turned into him after getting the rebound. Whatever reason he chose to push him, he chose that. But that kind of shows a lot about AD. I'm going to push this guy, but he's not going to do it with Steven Adams. He didn't bark at Bane. I don't think we know he's not 10. I think he's closer to 15 if he's 15. Thanks a lot, guys. Love the show.
Appreciate it, James.
Thanks, James.
Yeah, it's funny. I think the conflict is she just likes she was happy to see a little bit of
passion.
Yeah, a little bit of that. I think ultimately at the end of the day, what's AD's personality? That's not his personality.
It's not.
Right? And maybe some guys can morph into something that there's an evolution of them. I think AD's been in the league long enough to where if somebody's 19 years old or 20, maybe they could be something different by the time they're 25. Not at this stage for AD. This is who he is. And by the way, that's an incredible version of a basketball player, but I think, like we said, there's something that comes with taking the keys to the Los Angeles Lakers franchise. Not any franchise, the Laker franchise. So him in that 2 seat or, just right next to LeBron James is a seat that he's comfortable in.
To James, is he's more of a 15 than a 10. My response, James, would be what is honestly what is the meaningful difference between those two things? It's not a lot. You know what I mean? Like
there's the top 5, and then you could
right. Like there are it's Jokic, it's Giannis, it's Embiid, it's Curry, it's Luka. It's there's maybe 7
Tatum
or 8
there too. Yep.
Yeah, sure. But then there's the next group of 10 or 12 that you can all put them in any order. He's in the next group. However many people the next group contains, he's in that group.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think that you got to have that guy. Where he said he's not the best second guy, I think he's the perfect second guy. I think he's exactly what you're looking for in a complementary player to your best player.
He's already shown it. That part he's already shown.
The part that I'm also positive about is
not
that
the guy.
He's the best second guy.
Yeah.
That he's not. If he's your first guy, that's a totally different team. It's a totally different team, and a team that would need a totally different supporting cast than the one that they have right now. Andrew Friedman talking about Corey Seager, and boy, you want to be left feeling empty, Slee? Wait till you hear this. That's coming up next. It's Travis Slee, 710 ESPN. Still loving Prize Picks, Slee. I'm a pick 2 guy, right? At Prize Picks, you pick between 2 and 6 players.
Yep.
You look at their statistical predictions, or projections, I should say, and you just pick more or less. Do you think that Patrick Mahomes is going to throw for more or less than 270 yards? Do you think that Matthew Stafford will throw for more or less than a touchdown? These are the projections, and it's that easy to win up to 25 times your money at Prize Picks, and it is an incredible way to do DFS.
All right, so I'm with you on this, but I'm going to pick more of the NBA games. So already put my picks in for tonight. Luka, more than or less than 31.5 points. I'll go less. Jordan Poole, more than or less than 17 points. I'll go more. It's just you against the numbers. Instead of battling thousands of other players, including pros and sharks, you pick more or less than on a 2 to 6 player stat projection and watch the winnings roll in. This is the best part. It takes about 60 seconds to submit your entry, so it's super easy. It's super clean on the website. Go to prizepicks.com/710 and just use that promo code 710 for a first deposit match of up to $100. prizepicks.com/710 and use that promo code 710.
All right, guys, it's officially back. Fifth Row Fridays presented by BBGO.
That's the official game day snack of the Lakers, by the way. And this is the best thing we give away. Fifth row seats to a Laker game. How many times do people come up to us and say, hey, give me Laker tickets? Yes. We don't have them. I don't even have them, but you can win them if you listen every day.
And these seats are better than the seats that you and Michael have, right?
15 rows better.
Yeah.
Michael and I are like row 20. So here's how you win. You listen every day to all the shows and take notes. If you can answer 5 questions about what happened on the show that day, you're eligible to win.
And don't forget, on Fridays, your chance to call in all 5 right answers, and you are in the fifth row at Crypto.com Arena for a Lakers game.
For free!
We're live from LA Live. Travis and Sliwa on 710 ESPN.
You have any bonus Ask Travis's, Al, that you want to get into right now? Because I feel like talking about myself again.
I got one.
You got one?
Yeah.
All right.
Jorge from LA Live.
Jorge.
Oh,
thanks, Jorge.
So whatever happened to the pot?
Back.
Okay, it's back in its normal spot?
It's back in its normal spot. It is. It's undamaged. It's unblemished. It's back. You could convince me, or you could never convince me that they used it to make mashed potatoes. But whatever they did use it for, it was returned no worse for wear.
When are you making chili? Follow-up question. When are you making chili
I've
again?
made it since then.
Oh, nice.
And guess what I made it in? The chili pot, because it was
Amazing.
back where it's supposed to be.
I have one from Chrissy. She says, hashtag Ask Trav, how long is too long to leave a glass of water out before drinking it? Is a week too long? It's not like it's dirty, but it's weird, right?
That's
okay, maybe if even after like one night, like I don't know.
I have
about
the
you
best
guys.
example.
You
Yep.
you get
Water.
yourself a glass of water before you go
Yeah.
to bed. You put it on the table in case you wake up in the middle of the night. You want a little sip
Yeah.
of water. The next morning, there's like some dust floating on the top.
Okay.
And I'm out. Like overnight is maximum.
I'm
and then
here
we're
to
going
defend
I always keep it
the
in my
morning.
hydro flask, so I don't have to.
I'm here to defend the morning water. But after that, like if it's 10 a.m. or 11 a.m., I'm like, okay, that's enough.
Yes.
But for some reason, I'm okay with 7 a.m.
But if you woke up is this from the night before?
Night before, yeah.
But you can just get up and go to the sink and fill it up again.
Yeah, but it's a lot of work. A lot of work these days.
It's when the old stale water gets consumed is when you had a pretty good night the night before. You're having a good time. And it's like, and I'm just not ready to kind of roll out and refresh that. I'll drink the dust water.
And then you get the pizza on the floor, and then you're all
There
good.
you go.
Maybe
Now you're
we're getting
hydrated
closer.
and you're full.
Yeah,
There you
exactly.
go.
Sam Lee helped us out. He said James Johnson and his whole family are black belts and
there you
MMA
go.
fighters.
Yeah.
That's not
Skip him. Skip him. Charles Oakley might even have a hard trouble with that. I don't know if Charles Oakley's having a hard time with many, but the Johnson family should skip those guys.
No, the guys who are actually that's what they do for a living is fight. It's like no. What's it called with the ears?
Cauliflower ear.
Oh,
The boxers, wrestlers, MMA guys.
when I see that, either I'm buying that guy a drink or I'm going to a different bar.
Yeah, no, they don't know. They know what they're doing. Now, there is kind of a little code of professionalism where they don't mess with guys like us because they could kill us.
Yeah.
But, yeah, no, pick a different guy. Pick a different guy. So Andrew Friedman went on the Dodger Nation podcast and was talking about free agents wanting to come here to Los Angeles. Take a listen to this.
If a player who is a free agent really cares about winning, I think you can look back and then look ahead. And I would argue we're the best positioned of any team. Now, I'm sure other teams would argue differently, and I totally get that and respect it. But I think what we have demonstrated, where our core players are today, the strength of our farm system, our financial flexibility, I think you could look out for the next 5 to 7 and make a very compelling argument. And so I think that resonates with free agent players. At least I hope it does. And it's something that, I think is meaningful in a lot of guys' decision as they're going through this.
All right. Help me with this, guys. Is it just the delivery that I'm getting hung up on because it's kind of flat, because it's kind of monotone, because it's very Friedman-esque, right?
Yeah.
That Andrew Friedman is not.
It's also smug too. It's
Also, don't worry. I was listening to us on 1.5 times speed when I was listening to it this morning.
So that's what I'm getting at, Al.
Yeah.
Is it just that when you talk like this and you don't really change the tenor of your voice and your pace is very deliberate, that you just sound smug? Or is it actually a smug-sounding answer? Because I agree with you. This is more like, hey, listen, we've been good for 10 years. We're going to be good for 5 or 8 more. And if free agents, they should be able to figure that out. And if they want to come here, great. We'd love to have them. That's how it landed on me. Am I wrong?
You're not wrong, but I think he just has a smug to him, period. And it also doesn't – first off, he has a smug. Number two – the words that come out of his mouth is very and I'm okay with cocky. I'm okay being confident with what you do and how great you are at your job. But I think the part that's missing, man, is he humbled at all? And I think that's the one thing that
doesn't come across.
That's the one thing that I will say that, at least in my opinion of the Los Angeles Dodgers, there isn't this humbleness of, damn, you know what? It's great what we do in the regular season. It's great that we built this farm system. It's great that we have the ability and the revenue, and Dodger fans are able to fill in these seats to make us even more profitable, and the ability to go out and do whatever the hell we want. Think about every time you bring up the Dodgers over the last 10 years, you have to start with how disappointing they've been in the playoffs. You have to. Shouldn't that humble you a little bit? Shouldn't you? I mean, listening to what he said right there, that didn't sound like a guy that has been humbled.
No, it doesn't. Because I don't think he feels like he should be. I think this all kind of comes together.
You're right about that.
This all kind of comes together with this is the best way. Just because it hasn't worked doesn't mean that it's not the best way. And if you don't understand that it's the best way, that's your problem, not mine.
Untrained eye.
That's untrained eye, precisely. It's one
your
of these
problem because you keep losing at the most important times.
I know that's how you feel, and that's how I feel. But I don't think it's an arrogance to mask I know I got a problem, I just don't know how to fix it. I think it's I don't have a problem. That you think I have one, it's not my problem. I don't have one. This is the best way to do this. It just hasn't worked yet. And we're going to continue to run it back because that's what I'm getting. Our methodology, our track record, all of these things, and he's right. They have been the best team in baseball for 10 years in a row, and you just look at win totals. They are exceedingly heavy favorites to continue to win a bunch of games during the regular season for the foreseeable future. That the systems in place produce what he's describing. But there's also this disconnect on, I'm not changing anything. Because I want to move on to this. I want to talk about the Corey Seager portion of this, where he was asked about, hey, why is he in Texas celebrating his second World Series? And the quote was, I can't get into it too much, but there are players that have engaged earlier and have shown a real desire to be here, that we've been aggressive and lined up and figured things out. I think it was important for him to go out and test free agency, which I respect. He went on to say, for us, we felt like we were aggressive and tried to make it happen. Didn't necessarily have the back and forth to try to get something done. But then we ended up with Freddie Freeman and distributing our talent in a little different way. Okay, I'm going to paraphrase this. Tell me that, well, he didn't really want to be here, so we went and got Freddie Freeman instead. That's how I heard that. That is look, he should have come to us sooner with we want to be here for the rest of our lives. We tried to do it, and he didn't want to do it, so good luck to him, and we got Freddie Freeman. Am I crazy? Because that's what I'm hearing.
I don't think you're crazy, but is the question, is he saying it was one or the other?
I don't think that's what it is. I think it's like, well, we still got a good player.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't get that good player, but we still got we spent money on another very good player
in a different position. Yeah,
right. But this line of there are players that have engaged earlier and have shown a real desire to be here, that we've been aggressive and lined up and figured things out. In other words, the player has to come and say, we want to be here too. This is the disconnect that I think we're both getting at. How about you go out there and make a pitch that maybe isn't a perfect fit for you, but is beneficial to the player so you can keep the special player? Corey Seager is a special player. I'm not saying you do it for Tyler Anderson. I'm not saying you do it for every Dodger free agent that comes around.
Do it for World Series MVPs.
But you do it for Corey Seager, and if he still decides that, you know what, I'm going to go over there, then you can live with it. But if it's this, well, we never really got a dialogue going back and forth where we were able to figure things out, and he wanted to go to free agency, and we got Freddie Freeman anyway.
Can I just tell you what I heard from every Dodger fan at that time leading up to it, and leading up to that season ending, and even before the season ended, all I heard from everybody was, but you're not going to go after Corey Seager. You have Trey Turner. That's why you got Trey Turner. That's why you traded and got Trey Turner. So I feel like everyone had already justified, it's okay if Corey Seager leaves because you already replaced him, and then you're going to have this guy for a year, and then the Dodgers are going to do whatever they do, and they're probably not going to go spend this crazy money on a show. Because you know who might be next, and I'm not telling you it's the game plan or anything. Gavin Lux is going to be sitting there after that, and you got him under control, and you don't have to go pay him. Whatever he says, I just remember at that time there were a lot of Dodger fans justifying it's all good. Corey Seager goes, he goes.
Yeah, it felt
got
like
Trey
it at the
Turner
time,
behind him.
But the fans can think whatever they want. he's the one in charge of the team.
Mm-hmm.
Fans are always going to have opinions on what's happening, but if you're the guy,
But isn't that what happened too?
What do you mean?
Like, isn't that the storyline of we don't have to make Corey Seager a priority is because we got Trey Turner in the back. If it didn't play out that way and they re-signed Corey Seager and Trey Turner was on the team, then it would be like, yeah, look, the president of baseball operations, I know what the fans are saying, but it kind of played out the way every fan was talking about.
You needed to keep one of those two guys. That if you weren't going to go above and beyond for Corey Seager, then you better move heaven and earth to try to get Trey Turner to stay.
There's a good chance Trey Turner, but the problem with Trey Turner is a lot of those conversations where, hey, this guy probably doesn't want to be a Dodger.
And there's a fatal flaw in some of this too, where if you want to win, you can. Well, those guys both want to win and get paid, and guess what?
They're on winning teams that got paid.
Corey Seager just won the World Series again and was the World Series MVP again, and has $300 million or whatever it is in his bank account. Trey Turner is on a damn good team that showed up in the playoffs. He was a big part of why they were able to do it. And it's not like the Phillies are a one and done thing. They're set up to have some success for the next handful of years moving forward. That it can't just be, well, our way is, it's just our way. There are other teams that are pretty good too.
Aren't those the perfect examples too? Because if there's this smug, we got everything covered, you just don't understand it. You had two fantastic players leave your organization to go to two good organizations somewhere else and still have success. A lot of times you say, well, he left the Dodgers because he's just going to go get paid somewhere else. What if I can go get paid and still win?
And that's the difference. That's the difference between Seager and Turner and a guy. And I don't mean to keep throwing Tyler Anderson under the bus because he pitched great for the Dodgers.
Guy's probably just listening, and his name keeps getting thrown out.
You let him go. Sorry, buddy, I can't do that.
Yeah,
I can't do that. Like if the Angels are crazy enough to give you
go get it.
Go get it. Because you're gonna go win 74 games, and it's not gonna go great for you because I've seen you other places that aren't here. I know it's not gonna go great for you. Good luck. We'll give you this, but Corey, there isn't another one. And if there was one, it was Trey Turner. You let him go too. And I get it. They're free agency. But this does not make me think, guys, we did everything we could to do this, and they decided to go somewhere else.
It's almost like, no, they have to call us. Jesus, Lord.
Yeah, it's a perfect way of putting it. Factor Caps coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN. Rotolo Chevrolet, right off the 210 freeway, Sierra Avenue exit, right there in Fontana. And when you go to Rotolo, here's what you're going to get. You know that you're going to have a great time out there, right? You can go see what all the fun's about because you see Mike Capozio dancing and having a great time in all of his commercials. But what you're going to get is an unbelievable selection. Every make, model, and color of Silverado that you can possibly think of, they got you covered at Rotolo Chevrolet. The price, they're going to take care of you, right? They're not going to get beat on that. But the customer service, that's only at Rotolo Chevrolet. That's how you win Dealer of the Year 13 years in a row, by making people feel special, by making them feel counted, by making sure that they know exactly what it is that they're buying at the right price, courteous, transparent, upfront. That's what they do at Rotolo every single day. So if you're in the market for a new Chevy car or truck and you've been thinking about it, get yourself to Rotolo. Right off the 210 freeway, Sierra Avenue exit. You can go online. You can have a great experience online too. RotoloChevy.com. That's ROTOLO, RotoloChevy.com. And when you get there, tell them that Travis sent you.
All right, guys, it's officially back. Fifth Row Fridays presented by BBGO.
That's the official game day snack of the Lakers, by the way. And this is the best thing we give away. Fifth row seats to a Laker game. How many times do people come up to us and say, hey, give me Laker tickets?
Yes.
We don't have them. I don't even have them, but you can win them if you listen every day.
And these seats are better than the seats that you and Michael have, right?
15 rows better.
Yeah.
Michael and I are like row 20. So here's how you win. You listen every day to all the shows and take notes. If you can answer 5 questions about what happened on the show that day, you're eligible to win.
And don't forget, on Fridays, your chance to call in all 5 right answers, and you are in the 5th row at Crypto.com Arena for a Lakers game.
For free!
Travis and Sliwa, we're here each weekday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., and it's time for Fact or Cap.
Oh, that's cap. That's so cap, Dad.
Everything I've said is a cap, but I'm going to go fact.
First of all, it's not a cap. It's
No, it
just
is a cap.
Welcome to Factor Cap.
Hey guys,
Hi.
one fun thing, and this is cap related, but my
Should we
sister.
call you Arthur today, or are we still going to call
Yeah,
you
you can
Em?
call me Arthur.
Is this cap related as in like lies, or cap as in
Cap, as in I might go to a Capitals game when I'm home for Thanksgiving.
Oh, nice.
So
Very
my
nice.
sisters and I are gonna go. My younger sister does not really care for sports at all, but she was like, "Let's go watch some sports puck," and I was like, "Yeah, sure."
She'd tell me she didn't call it sports
She did call
puck.
it sports puck.
Wow.
Because she just said sports ball, but there's no ball, so she said sports puck.
At least she knew the name.
It's accurate.
Yeah,
she knew the name.
Yeah, all right. That's sports puck.
all right, so
in sports puck, my Anaheim Ducks sports puckers.
Hey.
They came behind. They got 2 goals in the third period to beat the Preds last night.
Hey.
There you go. Your
My
Anaheim
Kings
Ducks.
sports puckers are playing very well.
Yes.
Go off, Kings. So
San Diego goals were amazing yesterday.
So Patrick Mahomes was one of the guests on the Manning Cast on Monday Night Football, and I'm going to play a piece of sound that maybe was a little bit much out of Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick, we talked to we saw your old teammate, your backup quarterback, Chad Henne, said you have a few superstitions, and that one of them has been wearing the same pair of red underwear on game day for years now. And I love a good superstition, but couldn't you just do something like eating the same pregame meal? Did it have to be the red underwear?
Well, first my wife Brittany got them for me, so I had to. I'm not throwing y'all down, but I have to wear them, But at the same time, I threw them on that first season. We had a pretty good season that season. I only wear them for game day though, so I can't get. They're not too worn down. They're not like these like nasty. I clean them.
You wash them. You wash them.
I do.
Oh,
I
good,
wash
good.
them. I wash them every once in a while at least.
Is it a thong? Is it a G-string? What is it?
I mean, if we're on a hot streak, I can't wash them. Like I gotta just keep it rolling. So as long as I'm winning football games, I'll keep the superstition going.
No doubt.
I can't take them off. I'm trying to do my Patrick Mahomes impression. All right. Yeah, a little bit. This is a bit too much from Patrick Mahomes. Travis, Patrick Cap.
I think that's fact. I think that it is a bit too much. I'm pro superstition. If you think it works, it might work.
Yeah.
So go do it. But you don't have to tell me every little detail of your underwear habits.
That they're red.
That the red is a fine detail. The rest of it, how often,
Even the red, I'm sure.
how infrequently they're laundered.
And he's also now a spokesperson for Skims along with his wife, so he could also just
is that
get
an
new
underwear brand?
Yeah, it's Kim Kardashian.
Kim Kardashian,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Shea Gilgeous too.
Yeah.
If you guys saw that commercial.
NBA's underwear brand is Skims now, so of course it is.
Yeah, I'm good with not knowing 98% of that.
Berg?
It's Cap. I mean, he was asked the question, he answered the question. He didn't give away too much. They kept going further on it. They wanted to know if it was a G-string or what kind of underwear it was. He's just giving the answers. That's absolutely Cap. That's fine. What he wants to do with his underpants, it's fine. That's how
His
Cap says
underpants?
it. He calls them underpants.
Okay,
Captain Underpants?
It's
Underpants.
fact. It's fact for me, but this is what got me. Okay, if he was wearing the same underwear, and it was once a week, and he thought whatever reason that's why he's winning. Okay, that's it is what it is. I wear my underwear. There's a good chance I'm going through the same one once a week, right?
Sure.
He said it was once a week.
The problem is when he said, but if we start winning, we start going on a winning streak. I don't want to ruin anything. So now you're basically wearing draws that
underpants.
You had 4 weeks in a row. You go on a 4-game winning streak.
Keeps
You're
winning a
wearing
lot
the
of
same
games.
one, and you're not washing them.
He was playing around at that point.
I don't think he was. I thought like you said, he was telling the truth. He was this. He was that. I think he was telling the truth. That's why I go fact. I was good up until the not washing them.
All right.
Fact. Two questions about this.
Those are boring.
When you're in high school, you have a locker. You keep it for the rest of the time, right? This guy travels. So does he take it or does the equipment guy carry it for him? Does that make sense?
I'm sure he packs it. I think he packs it.
It's not him.
He has a guy.
That's gross.
He has a
Still,
guy.
that's gross.
I'm sure there are like tongs involved.
Yeah, right. It goes in a bucket. They clean all of it.
All of us are fact.
Hazmat suit.
Except Berg.
Who cares? I want to
Berg
know.
is. Let's keep going.
Let's keep going.
Ride
Yeah,
the
say it all.
streak.
He was asked the question. He answered the question.
All right, so Sauce Gardner, the cornerback for the New York Jets, apparently does not care for New York-style pizza. And obviously, if you're in New York and you don't care for New York-style pizza, that's pretty terrible to the New York people.
That's a problem.
So there is an LA equivalent to a New York player not liking New York pizza. So there's an LA thing that if an LA player said, I didn't like X, then that would be as bad. Berg, fact or cap?
Fact. This is pretty easy. Josh Hart said that In-N-Out was overrated. That's it. That's right there. You are now lost to us.
Yeah,
he said it was when he was in New Orleans, so it was okay. Not really. But you can't say anything about In-N-Out and get away with it.
Al?
Yeah, I think that's the equivalent. I don't know if I come up with a better equivalent. I mean, what are you going to say? Avocado toast? Like, what's
that is pretty good.
I mean, maybe that's the equivalent.
Was just eating in the back. I wanted some of it.
I think that's probably the best comp. Can I just go back to, even though this has nothing to do with the New York pizza? Like, you don't like a New York slice of pizza. I don't know if I know anybody that doesn't like a
slice.
Okay, make it a smaller slice.
You have to fold it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Trav, you have to fold it, but it's thin. Like, somebody says they don't like Chicago style. I get it. It's 17
thick.
Layers.
It's lasagna
of cheese.
called pizza.
It's
not even pizza.
I understand, but a New York slice of pizza, I can't walk 3 blocks if I'm in New York without grabbing another slice.
Trav?
There is one other. In-N-Out's the best answer. But there's one other thing that had you asked this question, I don't forget the timeline exactly. Say called 5 years ago. Definitely 10 years ago.
Okay.
A Dodger dog.
Oh,
Not anymore because they ruined them.
Delicious. I love it.
But if you would have said the original grilled Dodger dog
Farmer
that they
John.
served at Dodger
Farmer
Stadium
John.
from 19 whenever it opened, 50
I
something.
prefer the rubber
till
one
now.
right now.
Yeah.
The Dodger
Let me
dog.
shake it.
You guys doing your own show over there, or what's going on?
Oh, we're trying to do a podcast.
All right.
This is not an athlete because In-N-Out is the one, but Lindsay saying that Cleveland tacos are better. Hell no. Get out of here, dog. Hey, Brian, come at me.
A bacon wrapped dog.
Right.
Outside.
Yeah.
The outside?
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Street dogs?
Hey, friends, you can't make it to the game, but you still want that one-of-a-kind Dodger Stadium experience? Well, all you need is Farmer John Dodger Dogs, available now at your local grocery store.
Amazing.
Easternmost in quality, westernmost in flavor.
That's good. Also from Monday Night Football.
Just real quick, can I ask you, do we ever get the full backstory of what happened?
They changed vendors.
Yeah.
So, but it was like
They didn't want to pay.
Right.
Well, I get
They went
that.
cheap.
I get that portion of it,
Essentially.
but it's even the outcry and everything. There wasn't ever like you know what, guys, let's be smart let's just go back to what we had before. It's just didn't matter.
Farmer John, by the way, is at LAFC games now.
Oh,
you can get it. You can get the Dodger dog at an LAFC game.
Yeah.
Andrew Friedman didn't want to invest the time. to negotiate.
If they want to be a part of a winning program, Farmer John will come back and do what they're
The name
supposed
on
to
the
do.
front is
exactly.
what they come for.
That's good.
All right. Also, from Monday Night Football, Stephon Diggs interrupted. Hey, Jorge, what's his name again? The guy who does the ESPN Monday Night Football
John
Spanish
Sutcliffe.
podcast.
Monday Night Football.
All right. So Stephon Diggs interrupted his broadcast, and I want to play the sound real quick.
¿Qué onda, mi hermano? ¿Cómo estás? Lo siento. Monday Night Football? Sí. 1, 2, 3, 4. Monday Night Football. Americano fútbol. Fútbol americano. Fútbol americano. Bills Mafia. Bills Mafia. Hermano, gracias. De nada, brother. Bueno,
All right, so this is a solid Spanish interaction out of Stephon Diggs. Jorge, fact or cap?
Fact, I like John Sutcliffe and the bit he does with all these players. Aaron Rodgers, they all play along. They all play. I love his bit. Yeah, I love it on Monday nights.
Trev?
Yeah, I'm assuming Stephon Diggs is not a fluent Spanish speaker, but he was able to kind of slug his way through that pretty
Uno,
well.
dos, tres,
Right.
cuatro.
He got a Lo Siento in there. He
Yep.
got a De Nada in there.
Yeah.
We got just enough of it for he was in and out. And Mi Hermano was in there as well, so he did a great job. Yes.
Yeah, my favorite part was that instead of saying Monday Night Football on Trace, he said cuatro. Berg?
Monday Night Football.
He's great, man.
It's fact. Yeah, he did a really nice job. He got all of the words in that he needed to. He said them all correctly. It sounded great. I like that guy.
Al?
Fact, and it doesn't have to be perfect. No, just interact and go along with it, and he obviously did that. So fact for me.
Anytime there's an exchange in a language that I don't speak, but I feel like I kind of understood what was happening, you did a good job.
Understood all of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like there, and it wasn't like high level.
No.
But it was just enough to where
I knew what they were saying.
Everybody got what they needed out of that for sure. The Rams have an anniversary coming up this week that may have been, other than the Super Bowl title, may have been the highlight of the Sean McVay era. That's coming up next. It's Travis Slee, 710 ESPN. Hey, if you get hurt in an accident, call Sweet James. Easy, right? Here's why it's easy, and here's why you need to make the call that I've made, my friends and family have made as well. If you're hurt in an accident, call Sweet James. 1-800-9-MILLION. 1-800-900-0000. When you make that call, here's what you get. You get the best attorneys in America. That's what they've been awarded. You get access to somebody that knows the insurance game, right? Sweet James used to work for the insurance companies. You get multiple attorneys looking at every case. You get somebody that knows the settlement portion of the game. And if they don't get the settlement that you feel like you deserve, then they've got the trial portion of it covered as well, where they win 98% of the time. This is why Sweet James is an all-star in this business. So if you're hurt in an accident, make the call that I've made, my friends have made, my family have made. Call Sweet James. Car, truck, or motorcycle accident, give them a ring. 1-800-9-MILLION. That's 1-800-900-0000 and sweetjames.com.
Monday Night Football.
ESPN.
I just had like the most Pavlovian thing happen to me in quite some time. I walked down the hallway to make a pit stop during the break, Slee. And sometimes that hallway smells not great because of all the...
Because you farted?
No, you're preoccupied with
What's
that
happening
today.
there? Did I miss something?
No.
Did this occur?
It smells like hamburgers and French fries in the hallway, and now I'm terribly preoccupied. Like
That's tough to get
You
out of.
barely have my attention.
That's
at this point.
tough to
I'm
get
thinking
out
all
of.
the different places that I could go. Everything all right, Em? I'm a little
Everything's
concerned
great.
that's your
Yeah,
first guest twice today.
Okay.
Wait. Let me just go over.
Here's what I'm thinking.
Just
Go ahead.
explain from my perspective?
Yeah.
I'm just automatically assuming something happened.
No, nothing happened.
No.
I just thought it was a good joke.
Those are out of the...
Just a fart jokes
I
always
did
work.
tell her what
Came out of nowhere.
I did tell you the one story where
Yeah.
that did happen once in the hallway.
Right.
Where I thought I was by myself and I wasn't.
So we know that. I know that
I told
story
you that
too.
story too.
Yeah, I know that story too.
Fart jokes always play for one. I mean, again,
You're not wrong about that.
But it got me. This is just again off a tangent. So remember last week when there was that video that kind of surfaced of someone who looked like Bill Belichick leaving someone's house? Do you guys see that?
I do.
Okay, so there was a guy who looked a lot like Bill Belichick.
No shirt on.
Was shirtless, leaving someone's house at dawn.
Okay.
Presumably, you can make an inference about why he was leaving then
Sure.
without a shirt on.
Sure.
But then someone was joking that all guys do this. As soon as they leave a girl's house that they've been at, they've been holding it in, and then you open the door, and then you let it rip. And so I was thinking I was trying to be one of the guys.
So
Thank you, Em.
I have more follow up about
Belichick?
the alleged. Did we ever get confirmation that it was or wasn't?
No confirmation. It was just somewhere in. It looked like a Boston suburb / maybe Nantucket.
Was it a very strong resemblance?
I didn't
I'll
even
send you the
know.
video.
I didn't even know it was a question.
Jorge.
That's Wendy Williams.
Oh, I love that one.
Jesus. I didn't even know that was a question of it not being him.
Oh.
I thought, yeah, that's.
It looks that much like him. I haven't seen it.
No, I'm just assuming it's him.
Okay.
It doesn't even look that much like him. I'm just assuming. When I saw the video, I'm like, yeah, well, Belichick is leaving somebody's home.
All right. So it was week 11 of the 2018 season that one of the coolest sporting events that I've ever been to in my entire life took place. Usually saw a good chunk of it, but not all of it.
A lot of good stuff.
The Rams and Chiefs played what is widely considered the greatest Monday Night Football game of all time, what is on the short list of greatest regular season football games of all time. It was a game that the Rams won 54-51, and I believe this to be – I know it was true at the time, and I don't think it's happened since then. It's the first time in NFL history where the losing team had scored 50 or more points.
Oh, my gosh.
Okay, so they had 51 points, the Chiefs did, and didn't win the game. That was 2018, Week 11.
Taken down, ball is loose, picked up, Ebucom returns it for the score. Scoop and score, Rams. There you take a shot, you're Kansas City. Mahomes, here he comes, and he gets a strip sack again. Ball is loose, still loose, and it's scooped up that time by John Franklin Myers. Aaron Donald again. Wow. Goff with time can find the open guy. Goff, third and goal. Goff. He's going to run it straight in. Jared Goff.
That touchdown right there was the one he fingered over the goalpost, which everyone thought he was going to go dunk it, but he didn't get high enough.
MVP candidate. As he tries to work his way in and does his second touchdown of the
2 TDs for Samson Ebukam. That's a detail that I don't think a lot of people remember.
Mahomes winds it up, wide open as Hill. How quick was that?
Too quick. I think you were in the car by this point, Slee.
I'll tell my story. I got my version of all this.
Goff on first down. Everett in stride. Wow! Touchdown Rams. They have passed midfield. Play action. He's going to wind it up. Downfield, a wobbler is intercepted. It is picked off. Marcus Peters, the former
It was a game that had so many back and think about just the names you heard there. Marcus Peters played in that game. Todd Gurley was in that game. Jared Goff, Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, Andy Reid, Sean McVay, Travis Kelce. Like just so many just mega stars. And everybody, Aaron Donald, and they all played at that incredibly high level. The game wasn't even supposed to be here. It was supposed to be in Mexico City. Yep. I think it was a Shakira concert.
At Azteca.
Where they tore up the field and they couldn't get it fixed in time. It was something else. And you had a very different experience.
Well, okay, so real quick, Mahomes throws 6 touchdowns.
Is that a lot?
Goff, 413 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. Mahomes had 3 interceptions that game. Tyreek Hill's numbers, 215 yards, 2 touchdowns. Brandon Cooks, 107 yards. So it's just it's funny to look back at that game. 54-51.
You had an experience, and plus we thought the NFL was forever changed that night too. It's all coming up when we come back. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
The return of $1 Million Mondays.
$1 Million Mondays.
Your chance to win $1 million from 710 ESPN.
Listen every Monday this football season for your chance at $1 million. $1 Million Mondays.
Presented by Hollywood Park Casino. Eat, drink, play.
Listen every Monday to 710 ESPN. When you hear the cue to call, be caller number 7. Give us your Super Bowl prediction. Both teams and the final score, and you could be winning $1 million this football season on LA's $1 Million Mega Sports Station, 710 ESPN.
Is the Mid-Morning Spectacular live from LA Live. Travis and Sliwa on 710 ESPN.
I don't know if the proper phrase here is thank you or I wish you hadn't, but you sent me the video that may or may not be Bill Belichick. That looks a lot like Bill Belichick.
Yes.
I don't.
It looks a lot like.
I think we have to stop saying it looks like him. I think we need to say Bill Belichick left somebody's home.
He's built. He's got
big guy.
Yeah,
he's a big guy.
Got a lot to him.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. So, Slee, when you was that the first time you've heard a lot of those highlights from the 54-51 barn burner, or were you in your car by that point?
Well, I mean, I'm not aware of any of those highlights because I stayed for a solid. So I was at that game at the time, still doing the sales side of things, still doing the marketing side. So I stayed for a good 3 quarters. That's kind of my thing. I go for a solid 3 quarters. And I get there on time. I'm there when the game starts. Then by the time the fourth quarter started, and here's the sad thing of this entire thing, I don't have any regrets of leaving the game.
That's funny.
To start the fourth quarter. Like, I left, I was on the road. JB Long had a great call the entire time.
Let me play the call real quick too when you finish the story. So, this is what you got to hear in the car because you had already left.
Yeah.
The defense, which has been doubted throughout the month of October and November, delivers in a monstrous way. Forget the 51 points they allowed. They came up clutch, and they take the Rams to 10-1 as they go to the bye.
I was just pulling in. I was parking right at that time in Silver Lake, so the JB call was, that one touches me. All the other calls you played, I don't know what the hell was going on. I was like, what game is that? That must have been.
They were 10-1.
I did not know they were 10-1.
That year they were okay. Let me just pull a curtain back too. I was at the NFL at the time. I was at NFL Films, and so I was an intern. I was going through a bunch of games and stuff. And at the end of the year, I worked on the Super Bowl DVD for the Patriots. But like at the time, you had to have everybody's Super Bowl DVD set that is in the NFC or AFC Championship game. So we obviously had the Rams up through the NFC Championship game. And it was so cool because they helped someone do this game, the package for that Super Bowl DVD that never actually came out for that year. And it's just like you look back and everyone was saying on that Monday, the Tuesday night afterwards, everyone was buzzing. It was crazy.
This kind of goes together with what the Rams are dealing with right now, that at the end of that game, and even going into the Super Bowl, there was this idea that Sean McVay had broken the NFL, that he had cracked the code on NFL defenses, and that to beat a Sean McVay team, you're going to have to score 40 or 50 points a game. And because this is when they were just, like we just heard, 10-1. They're scoring a 50 burger here. They'd get 30 kind of in their sleep. That they were just tearing off points and yards and big plays one after the next. It's like,
arguably the best version of the Rams offense.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. It was extraordinary. And now when you watch the Rams, and again, think of all the names that we just went through on both sides of the ball, whether it's, Robert Woods and Brandon Cooks and Jared Goff and Aaron Todd Gurley, just all of these unbelievably talented guys. And now it's when they go out there and they get their 17 or 20 or 9 or whatever the number is, it's like, well, where did that go?
Yeah.
Because the guy that built that is the guy that's trying to build this, and it just speaks to, if you don't have the right players, you can't scheme your way to 50 points.
And one could affect everything else.
Absolutely.
Right? Like the trickle-down effect. So it's funny with the Rams. I want to go back to something here real quick, because part of this is, hey, the greatest game that you've ever seen. It's the greatest NFL regular season game, whatever that is. My situation of leaving early. Now, I don't have a tie to either one of these teams. I just don't. So it doesn't affect me as much as if I left a game. We've had Mark Cates, who's one of our
market consultants,
MCs, right? Marketing consultants. He tells a story where he had tickets to either he had tickets or he left at halftime. Kobe's 81. Okay. I don't know if you've said the story about Dodger Stadium.
My brother.
And you said a little bit of that. I'm trying to think, and I'm sure people have it, where you left a game and that game ended up being the Kobe 81, or that game ended up being whatever it was. That game didn't hit me as much just because I didn't have a specific tie, but I'm sure everybody has a tie of leaving early, or they didn't go to a game, or something came up. That to me is...
Why is the beginning of the game more interesting to you than the end?
It's not more interesting. Of course the end is more interesting.
But you don't want to sit in traffic?
I just want to leave early so I don't have to be sitting in the parking lot.
By the way, that's a fine answer.
Yeah.
But you just say when you were setting it up, you're like, well, I was there on time.
Yeah, I don't know. To be honest, I don't know if I was there on time. I have no idea.
There's traffic getting in.
I could have easily showed up in the second quarter for all I know.
If the answer is just, I don't want to sit in the parking lot, that's fine. I totally get it, because
there's nothing more. That is the only reason.
It's good.
Yeah.
Because when you look at the Gibson home run, right, in 88, you see the taillights in the
parking lot.
Just those two guys, like, and that guy or woman or whoever it was, like, I just missed the greatest moment in Dodger history.
Yeah.
Like, just slam on the brakes. Like, I missed it because I didn't want to wait in the parking lot. And I bet they don't regret it all that much because they were the first one out of there and everyone else was going crazy. I had an opportunity, to your point, to go to the Game 1 of the 1988 World Series. My dad was able to get a pair of tickets, and it was – I have a younger brother, and it was you can go to Game 1 and your brother will go to Game 2 or vice versa. Just one of you guys is going to go to – and you can bring a friend. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to go water skiing the day of Game 1. That we went up
and
to
water
Lake,
skiing was super fun, right?
We had a great time water skiing. We did. We went up to Lake Pyramid up by Castaic up there. Went water skiing, had a really nice day on the lake. It was super fun. And the second he made contact with that ball, I've regretted it ever since. My brother was there. He got to see it. And I don't even think it was Game 2 I was going to go to. I think it was Game 7. And I was kind of like,
wow.
Well, the Dodgers won in 5. It never even came back to L.A.
That's what I'm saying. Right. You were rolling the dice here.
I was. It was a mistake.
If you had a time machine, you can change back one thing in your life. Again, there's a butterfly effect that if you one thing happens, everything happens. If you would go back, would you go to this game? Would that be the one thing you'd want to go over and go to?
It's certainly the first thing that comes to mind.
Because other things are, like you could change other things, but they might be
related.
bigger.
Changes. That would have been fun to be there.
I'm not using mine on staying for the fourth quarter.
No, I wouldn't think so.
I'm not using mine.
I wouldn't think so.
But to your point about the Rams in 2018-2019 season, about how great they are, let me just list you the points they scored against their team that season. So they scored 33, 34, 35, 38, 33, 23, 39, 29, 35, 36, 54, 36, 23, 31, 48.
They scored under 30 points, and I think I heard 3 times it was under 30.
Yes, it was 29, 23, and 6. The 3 times they were under 30.
I'm gonna count 29 as 30, close enough. So basically 2 times all season they didn't score 30 points. That's stupid.
That's insane. That's like if the Miami Dolphins from this year were scoring, again, 30 points every game, but they're not.
They're not. And teams will have a day where they score 35, but you don't score 35 every week for an entire season, and that's exactly what they did.
And Travis, my question to you again, maybe you were following a little closer because you were working here with the Rams and you were doing the pregame and postgame.
Post.
And first and third hits at that point in time?
I believe that's right.
But with them, what was it? Was it that they unlocked Todd Gurley? Was it that Jared Goff was really playing fantastically? Was it the receivers? What was it? Or was it all of it?
It's all of it. It was a really innovative, dynamic head coach that put stuff out there that really no one had ever seen before.
Yeah.
That the league,
Halle Berry.
The league catches up to you, but it doesn't catch up to you in a week or even a month, and sometimes not even for a season. They will figure it out eventually.
They will catch up, and then they will also copy everything you're doing.
Of course. Yep. So more and more people started to copy it, and it just became more familiar to defenses and how to attack it. But you also had nobody thought Jared Goff was good, so they were letting the whole
because he wasn't before Sean McVay.
It wasn't an unrealistic point of view, and it was just let Jared Goff beat us. Well, he did over and over and over again. Gurley was still at the very best that he was. Aaron Donald was at the peak of his powers. You had a Peters. You had all of these other guys that maybe didn't have
a good line. You had Whitworth that was still there.
We had John Sullivan at center.
Yeah.
You had 2 guys. Roger Saffold was still at right guard at that point, who's been a long-time pro in this league. And all of those guys just get older. They leave. You can't pay them. The league sees the defense or the offense, and it's just they catch up to you. And now it's counterpunch time. To counterpunch without the talent is virtually impossible.
Is that even more frustrating that they didn't win the Super Bowl, but also the way that they lost that Super Bowl was that they couldn't score? Isn't that the most frustrating part of that?
It would have been, yes is the answer to your question, but the other part, Sleep, that Bill Belichick solved the puzzle was not a huge surprise.
No, of course not.
Had that been, I don't know, literally pick almost anybody else, and you would have been
Andy Reid.
Seriously? But Andy Reid's an offensive guy.
Right.
Had Andy Reid cracked
Belichick
the code,
is Belichick.
But did Belichick figured out, I know how to stop this, and did? It's like, well, yeah, he's Bill Belichick. And the way you stopped it is basically pressure right over the center. Mm-hmm. And they used a guy that they hadn't used all season long, and he just blew up the Rams' gameplay. And by the way, as bad as that Super Bowl was for the Rams, it was bad. I don't want to say it like that. They had a chance to win the game. I want to say it was 10-3 deep into the middle of the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Jared Goff hangs one out to Brandon Cooks. Brandon Cooks is just sitting there waiting for it to drop into his arms. and Goff underthrew him by a yard or two, intercepted, and that was kind of the final nail in the coffin. But it was a crappy game, but they had a chance to win it right up until nearly the end.
Okay, honest question here, and I'm going to fast forward to Sunday with the Rams. Do you want to see them win or no?
Ask a different question. Because do I want to see them win?
Let me. And there's a reason, obviously, to the question.
Yeah.
And I think most Rams fans know this isn't a secret. Anytime in sports, you don't want to be in the middle. And I'm not telling you that the Rams are going to end up winning 8 games and they're going to end up in the middle. I think that'd be miraculous if they did. But it also doesn't help you to be at 7 or 8 wins or something along those lines. They have a game against the Seahawks. They beat them in the first week of the season. I know the Seahawks are tied with the Niners for best record in the division.
Mm-hmm.
I think we all agree that the Niners are the better team.
Mm-hmm.
Would you, if they beat the Seahawks, they're now 4-6. They have a winnable game coming up after that. Who are they playing right after?
Arizona.
Oh, that's right, the Arizona game. And I thought the Packers' loss was kind of the nail in the coffin. They're not going to make the playoffs. But what you want to be respectful, and Stafford's going to be there. And this, okay, we go through all that stuff. Do you want to see them walk away with a W on Sunday? Or, hey, no, I'm thinking big picture. It's in the best interest of the Rams to not walk away with a
What's
W.
in the best interest for the Rams is to finish the season with 3 wins. That gets you a top 5 pick, maybe even better than that. Because to your point, if I really thought, hey, listen, they do have a chance to win 6 of these final 8. 9 wins get you in. Full steam ahead. If I really thought, even not like a good chance, but just a chance.
Or if they're sitting at 4 and 5 and the conversation is different.
Yeah, but they're not. They're 3-6. You have to win 6 of your final 8. And I really just don't. I'd love to be proven wrong. But the fear is, maybe it's not Seattle. Maybe it's Arizona. Maybe it's New York. Maybe it's the Commanders. Maybe it's the Saints. That you find 3 or 4 more wins. 7 wins is so much worse of a season than 3 because they're both bad. But if you're going to be bad. And they don't have the firepower to make a run in the playoffs. I don't think they have the firepower to get near the playoffs. So get a little strategic. Not that you don't try. It's
I
not
get it.
bad, but look, the second pick is better than the third pick. The third pick's better than the fourth pick. You know what I mean? It's just at some point where you end up on the season is more important than, hey, we won 7 instead of 6. Yeah, great. Now you're picking 15th instead of 10th.
There's business angles to it. There's angles to it that just make sense.
And I like the guys building the team. So let's let them start building the next version of a really good Rams team.
Sure.
This is not a really good Rams team. This is at its best an average Rams team, and they're not at their best very often.
God, I got your answer.
Yeah, that just now if they went out there and beat them, what did they beat them in week 1? I'm like 30-13 or something like that.
Yeah, 30-13.
Great, beat them. If they beat them 30-13, I'll be fired up on Monday morning because it looked really good, and now beat Kyler Murray. Okay, now we're
and then you got the Browns without Deshaun Watson.
Without
I know
Deshaun
you don't
Watson.
really know if there's a difference, but
yeah, maybe not. But it's I guess he's the starter for a reason. And now you win. You're back at 500 now. Anything it's there. I just don't think that you're going to stack a bunch of. They're 3-6 with Matthew Stafford. Okay. We'll see how it goes from there. The in-season tournament is happening. Still not quite sure why, but I don't hate it. That's coming up next. It's Travis Slee, 710 ESPN. Are you dealing with a dead battery? If you are, head to AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination. They offer free battery services like their free battery testing and free battery charging. Their free battery testing can help you know if you need a new battery or not, or if you just need a fresh charge. And if you do happen to need a replacement battery, they can help you with that as well. They're the only place you can find proven tough, Duralast batteries. So the next time you are having battery trouble, head to AutoZone, your battery solution and America's #1 battery destination.
Every Friday, we're
Big news, Laker fans. John Ireland here. You can now stream every Lakers game on the ESPN LA app. Don't miss a second of the action with Michael Thompson and I on the call. Plus, all your live and local Lakers talk every day in the palm of your hand.
You're one tap away from everything Lakers.
You could even win Lakers tickets.
Download the ESPN LA app. And bam!
Download the ESPN LA app at the App Store and Google Play.
You got back-to-back pregame shows tonight, Slee.
Yeah, they
Do you
got.
go home again today?
Yeah, oh yeah, I got to go home.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm basically dressed. Yeah, I got to go.
Oh yeah, home game. That's
No,
right.
no,
I thought
but
maybe
but,
you have your suit hanging in the car or something.
No, I kind of like that break. Yesterday when I went home, I didn't have that much time. I still got basically 4 miles in with Rook. Just go for a walk, be outside, breath, fresh air, all that stuff, shower, and get the hell back over here.
Then you started smashing Uncrustables.
Then I started taking Uncrustables and coffee.
It's worth it. It was worth it.
And it was Taco Tuesday.
The number, apparently, from what I can tell, is 5:15. That I left the house at 5:15 this morning and got here in a relatively normal amount of time.
Okay.
Still longer than usual,
Yeah.
but within 10 minutes. Yesterday, I left at 5:30, and it was a nightmare. So everybody stay home until I get here at 5:15, and then you can get on the freeway.
I leave at it's not a good time. But I was pretty good about leaving at this time and still being here. I'm not far. Pasadena, right? That's not far. I leave around 7:30. Right now with the 10 closure at 7:30, it's like I'll just keep the car neutral. I'm not going anywhere.
It's going to be shut down for a long time. I know they're saying 3 to 5 weeks. If I said to you right now, is it done by the new year? Do you think it's done?
Okay, so there's one of two things that can happen. They're under-promising and over-delivering, or they're over-delivering and under-promising.
Which the government is really well known for, is to over-deliver. That's something that they thrive with.
So that's my exact point, is because they gave that timeline, I would bet a lot of money that January 1st we're talking about. So what do you think? When's it opening?
Oh, I just had a very scary thought about the Rose Bowl and everything else, but thankfully, anyway, hopefully they got it open by the first. I don't want to have to roll out that early.
I know.
Once in a while, I can survive. In-season tournament last night. Lakers are now 2-0 in in-season tournament games, right?
Yeah, 2-0. The Suns and Memphis.
Suns and Memphis. Courts are different, which we've talked about. The uniforms are different, which we've talked about. But it's getting buzz might be the wrong word. It's getting conversation.
Conversation. That's the right word.
Conversation around it. Anthony Davis was talking about how he and some of the players were kind of kicking around the idea of making an extra of $500,000 is
because it means something to some people. In that
Sure,
team.
it does. Sure, it does.
I'm sure it doesn't maybe to AD and LeBron as much, but
isn't that kind of funny? Even when we say the $500,000, they already make so much money that there is a little bit. And you're right, Em. It's
not every single person on the team does.
Not everyone's included in that. But if LeBron doesn't care, hypothetically, about winning the in-season tournament, I'm sorry if Cam Reddish really wants the 500, but you're probably not going to get the 500. And I think I just always just assumed that 500 was not big enough of an incentive for the most important players to say, hey, I really want to go for this. Now, I might be wrong because a lot of the players have been saying the right thing.
So I think there's an order of operations on this. I think that this, for you and me as basketball fans to care about this, that things need to happen first. The first thing that needs to happen, and it looks like it might be at least a little bit happening, the players need to care. Because if the players care, then the second thing happens. The level of play rises. And good basketball makes fans interested. If the players are interested in the money or whatever else it is, and they push harder, if the coaches are interested in the money and they push harder, they tighten rotations, which Doc Rivers suggested on Bill Simmons' podcast, that if they approach this like it's meaningful, the quality comes up.
Like a playoff preview or a playoff prep.
The playoff prep, playoff preview, the intensity of the basketball goes, because look, let's be honest, the whole reason this tournament exists is to try to improve regular season basketball. Try to make it more interesting, more important.
More meaningful.
If the players compete at a higher level, if the coaches tighten rotations and the basketball gets better, fans will follow. But you can't ask the fans to do it first. Like, hey, care about this trophy. Well, if it's still a game like we saw, the Lakers against Portland, well, okay, it's a November game between the Lakers and Portland. How excited are you going to get about it other than it's an NBA game and we like the NBA? But if it's, hey, we're not going to get to the 9th, 10th, 11th guy. We're only going to play 6 or 7. We're going to play these guys a little more. We're going to play heavier minutes. We're going to have tighter rotations. The intensity is going to be a little different. Now, all of a sudden, there is some interest in this whole thing.
So give you my observation from start to where we're sitting today. I think in the beginning, I had a similar observation, and you and I said this a number of different times. I don't really know what the hell is going on, and I don't know why I should care, but I'm okay with you trying a new idea if you're the NBA.
Sure.
You did the playing tournament. I still think the playing tournament, there's some things that I wish were a little bit different, but the concept of the playing tournament, whether you love it or you don't, we're watching 7 through 10 leading up to the playoffs as if it's something meaningful.
I want to interrupt you really quick. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Do we only care because the Lakers have been in it? If the Lakers were in the 3-hole the entire season long and the 7, 8, 9, 10 are having a fist fight down there, do you care?
Maybe I'm not the right guy to ask. I watched the games. Why did I watch the games? I watched the games because they were the only games on in the weekday leading up to the playoffs. And there is a little bit of like, hey, this is decent basketball. These are not the teams that are going to go out there and win it. But I'm a basketball fan. So I don't know if you're watching or not, but 7 to 10 became interesting, and also the teams on the fringe trying to get in. You were talking you were talking about the bottom of the standings that you never talk about. So I go
only because the Lakers were in it.
No, but I'm going to go back to the same thing that I said. Maybe that's for you specifically, but what the NBA's goal was, even if we just get a few people talking about this play-in tournament, those teams are so irrelevant to begin with. There's chatter leading up to the playoffs, and I think that mission has been accomplished.
There's chatter, but there's stakes in the play-in.
Mm-hmm.
There's stakes. You're either in or you're out, right? The stakes on this are still really ambiguous.
Okay, you're right. Let me just kind of finish in the roundabout way. So the one thing that I'll say with the play-in tournament, we eventually got sold on, and it was like, okay, hey, I don't think this thing's a bad idea, and it ain't going anywhere.
No, it's good.
The in-season tournament, I have no idea still to this day if this thing is interesting or not. But if the NBA's goal was in November, you're going to talk about the NBA a little bit differently. You might spark a conversation with somebody that you never had before. We might run some freaking promos, and there might be all this social media that's going towards these photos of the court and these new jerseys. Why is that happening in November? It's only because of the in-season tournament. And I think that part is being accomplished. We might get to a point that by the time the in-season tournament is done, we might say, okay, that was underwhelming. Did I really care? Did I not? But I think the NBA, the goal of, can we just have you talking about the league in November and in a little bit of December? Because everybody has always said the NBA doesn't start until Christmas. Mm-hmm. Well, now we're in this 1-month window of talking about the NBA just a little bit differently. And I think for that purpose, I think the mission is being accomplished for the NBA.
I think that's fine for this year. I think that the newness of it will wear off next year. So I think that we're not going to be, oh, look at the court next year. We're going to know what it looks like unless they do a completely different design. They'll talk about it. Or even 2 weeks from now, we're not going to be talking about the court because it's not new to us anymore. Right. So I think that it's good marketing for this beginning to care about this year in 2023. It's the future years that are important. But
keep in mind, it's almost over too. It happens. It's a very short period of time, which I think they did get right.
At December? The beginning of December is when the Vegas is?
It happens really quickly.
Right. But what I thought was interesting of what Doc Rivers said to Bill Simmons was that there are some teams haven't won anything. Okay, not that this is going to be something you hang a banner for. This is something that you're gonna you might display the trophy in some sort of part of your building, whatever. But it's something to accomplish and to win. So that it's something for someone like the Phoenix Suns. This is a stepping stone to our real goal. We win the in-season tournament, and we can prove that we can win games that matter. It gives you momentum into the postseason. So, or if it's someone like, I don't know,
what's another team that hasn't won?
No,
I'm not buying it.
Even
but what's another team that hasn't won? That could have a chance.
But I think
it's almost more pathetic.
Suns are a good choice, Sam, and I'm glad you picked them. Because
Clippers?
Well, Clippers not so much because
something eliminated from it.
But I want to use the Suns because I think a player like Devin Booker is the perfect you can't trick Devin Booker into, hey, this is a big of deal as a playoff series. You can't Devin Booker's too good of a player. He knows what pressure is in December relative to what it is in April, May, and June. Mm-hmm. You can't really simulate that. That's why the NBA, not always, but usually, you have to kind of go through the steps before you realize the weight of all these things. And I don't know if playing for a little bit of money on a weirdly painted court simulates the pressure that comes along with it. I know that was Doc's point.
But maybe it's working through the kinks. Maybe it's working through the kinks as a coach. Maybe it's working through the kinks as players. What it means, like with the rotations at this game that means something.
I have a difficult time with that.
That's the whole point. What does it mean?
I have a
Because if
difficult
you
time with that
lose-
because we're still in December
Yeah.
by the time that's done. So that even if, let's say, you won the in-season tournament, playoffs aren't starting for 4 months.
Right.
So that what can I take away from that? What I think Kenny Smith was talking about this yesterday on TNT. This is probably the best comp that I have, or the comp that he had that I thought, okay, maybe I could tie this into it. I don't know how much. I mean, you're a big college basketball fan.
Yeah.
They have the Maui Invitational. Right. They have these tournaments technically before the season official.
They happen next week. They're all over Thanksgiving.
Okay. Winning the Maui Invitational or one of these big tournaments, that's actually a good accomplishment. You're going through some good teams to beat, but you're not saying because we won the Maui, that was our goal. We won the Maui Invitational, and you don't care about your conference, and you don't care about the March Madness, you don't care about everything else. The only thing I could think of is it can be hey, this is where we are. We won this little tournament. We also know that it doesn't mean anything once the playoffs start. Maybe there's something there, but I'm like hard. It's hard for me to sell myself on that.
It proves that you can compete with the guys that you're trying to compete with. So if you're using the example of the college basketball tournament, it's going to be Duke, it's going to be Kansas, it's going to be Purdue, and I don't know, UCLA that are in this Maui tournament. I don't know if that's this year, but that's just a theoretical thing. And UCLA wins it all. They can say, hey, if we see Kansas and we see Duke in the Final Four, then we at least have beaten them already this year.
Yeah,
and have something.
that's the part that I can't get with, because I've said this before. You cannot simulate urgency. You cannot simulate pressure. It's just not the same, because to use your hypothetical, M, if I lose to Kansas in December, I got 3 months to continue to play and get better.
Right, it doesn't sink your season.
Right. Whereas if I lose to Kansas tonight, my season's over. It's just that you can't simulate that pressure. You can learn to play well and all these things, but pressure is only there when it's there.
It's like if Ohio State had lost to Notre Dame in that first game of the year, second game of the year or whatever, when they had that scrimmage, and not scrimmage, but the game earlier on in the season.
The one where Notre Dame kept putting 6 players on the field?
Yeah.
That one?
Yeah. That would have sunk Ohio State season.
We need a tweak. Like I think I'm more open now than I was 2 weeks ago about the in-season tournament. I think as it progresses, it's going to be like, okay, let's see what's happened. This is fine. But the tweak, we were talking about this, Michael and I in pregame. John jumped in as well. I think everybody's saying, okay, for the consumer, give me an incentive for my team. If it's, hey, you're guaranteed a playoff spot, use something Tyrese Halliburton said. If it's, hey, you're guaranteed at the absolute worst, you can't be worse than an 8 seed. Give me something that the fan base can say, if we win this is beneficial to my team. They don't have that yet.
But wouldn't you check out the rest of the season if you've guaranteed a playoff spot?
Because let's say you're guaranteed an eighth seed, something like that. You're still fighting for home court. It depends what team wins it. I still think there's a lot to play for.
But you would let LeBron have more days off. You would have you would attack that second half of the season very differently.
We can make that argument for certain teams, but I will tell you, Milwaukee, Boston, Denver, all these teams that are the best teams out in the league, they're going to end up being a top 2, top 3 seed in the West or in the East or the West anyways.
Don't let perfect be the enemy of good, right? Like good is sometimes good enough, because there might not be a perfect. So I guess the best news for the in-season tournament is
we're talking about it.
There's no downside to it.
True.
There's no harm in putting this together.
There's only one extra game if you get to the championship.
Right. If it's a dud, then it's a dud, and everybody just keeps moving. And I don't think it's a dud. I just don't think it's good either.
Do you feel like you become more open to it or no?
I still don't give a damn.
Okay.
And I don't mean that like
Please
disrespectfully.
cut that, Jorge.
I don't care. They're not playing for anything. Why would I care?
I think next year if they change it, now we'll be talking.
Need a tweak.
Whatever change they do.
Gotta have a tweak.
Stakes.
Yeah.
There has to be stakes. There has to be something on the line that, to your point, Al, that I care about. Anthony Davis or Cam Reddish getting $500 extra grand doesn't affect me at all. What do I care, right? Give me something to care about, then I'll pay a little more attention. Hot and cold coming up next. It's Trav and Slee, 710 ESPN. Head on into your neighborhood Valvoline Instant Oil Change, home of the 15-minute drive-through oil change, because For over 30 years, Valvoline has provided quick and convenient automotive maintenance services for busy people just like you and me. And if you're anything like my family, you're getting ready to head out on your Thanksgiving feast. You're probably going to be driving somewhere. Before you do that and put the family in the car, make sure that your neighborhood Valvoline Instant Oil Change is on your to-do list and let the expert technicians make sure that your ride is at its absolute best. You'll be in and out in no time, 15 minutes from the time you pull in to the time you pull out, and you're going to feel great knowing that you're going to get to where you're going safely and securely. Over 80 locations ready to help you get your ride ready for the road in no time at all. So visit SoCalOilChange.com for locations and game-winning coupons off of your next Valvoline Instant Oil Change.
Call 833-3-NEXTGEN, NEXGEN, or visit nextgenairandplumbing.com. Time for our feature we do 3 days a week at 12:30 p.m. Who's hot? Who's cold? Thanks to NextGen. And yes, it is time for Who's Hot. How about one of my faves, Kendall Roy? Take it away, producer Emma.
I knew you'd like that, Chris. We met our succession text back and forth. But the reason why Kendall Roy is hot right now is because something that happened in the popular culture reminded me of him. So Leonardo DiCaprio had his 49th birthday over the weekend, and while at his 49th birthday, he decided to take his hand at rapping a bit, and it's a little cringy, and I also find it hard to, most guys can't pull off the rap. Obviously, I can, but not everybody can. So it reminded me of this scene in Succession. I believe it was the first season. Kendall Roy, who's the eldest son of Logan Roy. It's Logan Roy's birthday, and he's singing a song to him. So this is what Kendall Roy sang to Logan Roy.
L to the OG. Dude be the OG, and he playing like a pro. C, L to the OG. Dude be the OG, and he playing like a pro. Make some noise. A1 ratings, 80K1.
All right. So
that's worse than I even remember it.
L to the OG. The song gets stuck in my head all the time, but there's no way to sound not corny when you're rapping and you're not a rapper.
It's an incredible skill, and the line between good and competent is big, and the line between competent and everything else it's a chasm like the Grand Canyon, right? Like Mario can do it. Like if Mario can pull it off and it sounds cool because Mario knows how to do it. He's got that talent.
It's cool.
He's got that ability. He's inherently cool. Yes. If Al or I tried to do something like that, it would be the most absurd thing in the world. And you could get coached up. You could do all these things. We will never have the skill set to be able to pull it off.
The worst thing you could do is also try to do something. And like if you and I rapped and we're joking around about it, okay.
X gonna give it to you.
Making fun of ourselves doing it, that's okay. To actually do it where you're looking into people's eyes, like, take me seriously, it's like, what are you doing?
Right, and that's the best part of the Succession scene is because Kendall Roy is taking it seriously. He thinks that he's spitting with this.
Well, it's like
I got bars.
You guys have all seen or gone to or participated in karaoke, right?
Yeah.
There's the person in your group who can sing,
right.
And they go out there, you're like, wow, that was really good. There's the person in there that tries, and it's okay, like not bad. And if you're not at that, you have to go in there and be purposefully dreadful.
Or sing a funny song.
Or sing a funny song because otherwise you're Kendall Roy
it's just
or
cringe.
DiCaprio.
Yeah, so like what's funny too is I went to see a movie last night, and at the theater that I go to, the Alamo, they have Tuesday night karaoke, and so before the movie we were like sitting there.
Did you indulge?
I did not indulge because the line is already kind of long at that point in time.
Do you have a go-to karaoke song?
I don't know. I've kind of gone in between a couple, but I like to do "Cowboy Take Me Home" from the Dixie Chicks. Now the Chicks.
Okay.
No, "Cowboy Take Me Away," that one. But yeah.
Jorge, do you have a
It used to be "Love Me 2 Times."
Okay.
It was just the Doors. I used to work at
Love Me
Suntrue.
2 Times.
Yeah, and I used to be the one. Yeah.
Always
What's
good.
your go-to?
Take Me Out to the Ballgame.
Yeah, we know that one.
It's the only song
But
I'm confident
that
singing
doesn't
in public.
come out in karaoke.
Yeah,
can.
I do it a cappella.
All right, guys, time for Who's Cold.
And now time for Who's Cold today. Chuck E. Cheese. You know how I feel about rats.
All right, Chris. So Chuck E. Cheese has decided to discontinue its animatronics in all but one store. There's one store in Northridge that you can go if you want to go see the animatronics still. So I'm going to play a piece of sound, the song that we're going to miss. That when we go to Chuck E. Cheese all the time, that we're not going to hear this song.
We can feel the magic now that you're here.
Together we'll make the good times right here. When it comes to keeping the groove, they won't just make the beat band and we're gonna make you move.
All right, so there's that we're missing from Chuck E. Cheese. But I don't know if you guys have seen, but there's Five Nights at Freddy's, which is a movie that just recently came out on Peacock, and it's in the theaters too. That is a not so veiled spoof of Chuck E. Cheese with animatronics go and kill a bunch of people.
I'm not surprised by that. Yeah.
I got a story. So when I was in high school, you know how you can work while you're in high school?
Yeah.
And, my parents had, signed permits, whatever. My first job was going to be at a Chuck E. Cheese where I was going to be Chucky.
In the costume.
I was going to be in the costume walking around with the kids. And then I interviewed, and it didn't go so well because I was nervous.
You weren't Chucky material?
I wasn't. And then I was like down for like a week. I'm like, Mom, I didn't get the gig. Like, you know, I freaking suck.
She's like, you didn't want it enough.
Dude, but I was going to be Chuck E. My mom, to this day, she'll make fun. Remember, you want to be Chuck E. Cheese? I was like,
That's
shut up.
awesome.
Dude, I tried out. Like, they had me do like an audition kind of thing. It was crazy.
Like you said, Em, the butterfly effect. If Jorge gets that Chuck E.
Who
Cheese
knows
gig,
where he is?
Charles Entertainment Cheese. That's his full name.
Who knows where he is today?
Never know. We'd never know.
Can they also discontinue the Chuck E. Cheese ball pit? Can that also be another? That can't be the most healthy.
Okay.
That can't be good.
Also, another thing.
No, that can't be good.
Do you guys know this about like DoorDash? How they have like ghost kitchens, or like they'll say it's like the thing on the list is like pizza galore
Right.
or whatever, and you order that, you order whatever pizza. So Chuck E. Cheese is one of those pizza places. Okay,
Oh,
so you
is it
can
really?
It's like a pizza galore type place, and you order it, and it's actually coming from Chuck E. Cheese and not from some other random pizza place. So look out! Like I think there's Just Wings is actually wings from Chili's. I don't know. I saw a TikTok about it. It was kind of cool.
That's terrifying. Because you.
But also, if it's good, it's good.
Yeah, but Chuck E. Cheese pizza is not going to scratch that itch.
Don't
right?
be disrespectful.
Yeah, just tell me.
Their pizza's
Don't be
fine.
disrespectful. We talked about New York slice, New York pizza before. Chuck E. Cheese is in that category.
And when was the last time you had a slice from Charles E. Queso?
I don't know. Charles Entertainment Cheese. I haven't had it in probably since I was 7.
Susan always calls him Charles E. Queso, so I stole her joke. Not good.
Yeah, it's funny you have like a memory of it being good.
Well, you're
'cause I even
7, it's
think
fine.
No, even I think it's 7. I was like, why are we eating here?
There was the knockoff place here in town. I don't know if it's down in San Diego or not.
Okay.
You remember Showbiz Pizza, Jorge?
No.
There was a Showbiz Pizza in Arcadia / Pasadena. It's like right on the Rosemead there on the border. And it was Chuck E. Cheese, only like, not like, you know.
Without the wrap.
With it was like if you created a Chuck E. Cheese in your garage. It was low rent Chuck E. Cheese.
They have the other one, John's Incredible Pizza, somewhere in
I didn't know that one.
Montclair, yeah.
I think there's a handful of
and they have
bootleg Chuck E.
They
Cheese
have
restaurants.
peanut butter pizza, so it's basically like just
Peanut butter
Oh
pizza.
no,
pizza, and
thank
it puts peanut
you.
butter and
Ew.
jelly on it, dude.
That sounds terrible.
Jorge,
but
are you saying that would be good?
No, I'm just saying they have all
They'd
kinds
existed.
of different pizzas. Yeah, yeah.
Did you ever have up here, and I'm actually just looking, we used to have one, and I don't think there's any more in San Diego. Do you guys ever have Hungry Howie's up here?
I don't think so.
No? Okay.
What
It was like flavored crust pizza. It actually wasn't that bad. It was like basically just Parmesan on the bottom of the crust. But it was very high school, like that's where we all went to
because
Hungry
you
Howie's.
liked it or because it was a novelty?
No, it was good.
Okay.
It was good.
Who's hot? Who's cold? It's brought to you by Next Gen. Next Gen, the official AC heat and plumbing company of SoCal sports fans. Call 833-3-NEXT-GEN or visit nextgenairandplumbing.com. The dump is coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN. If you are hurt in an accident, call the accident attorneys at Sweet James. Here's what you get when you make that call. You get the best attorneys in America. That's what they've been awarded at Sweet James. Best attorneys in America. Let that sink in for a second. What you get is decades worth of expertise, both with Sweet James and all of the attorneys who are going to look at your case. Multiple attorneys looking at every case. So you can rest comfortably knowing that justice is going to get served, that you're going to get what you're entitled to, not necessarily just what the insurance company is offering. Insurance company wants to do it as quickly and as cheaply as possible. Sweet James is going to make sure that it's done right, that it's done the way that it's supposed to be done, that your car is fixed correctly, that your medical care is taken care of, and of course, the compensation. Whether that comes in a settlement, they can do that, right? They make sure that the settlement part, the pre-litigation part is on point. Guess who else knows that? The insurance companies. They're going to play ball with Sweet James, which means you get what you're entitled to. And if not, they go to trial and they win. 98% of the time at Sweet James. So why call anybody else? If you're hurt in an accident, call the accident attorneys at Sweet James. 1-800-9-MILLION. That's 1-800-900-0000 and sweetjames.com.
All right, guys, it's officially back. Fifth Row Fridays presented by BBGO.
That's the official game day snack of the Lakers, by the way. And this is the best thing we give away. Fifth row seats to a Laker game. How many times do people come up to us and say, hey, give me Laker tickets?
Yes.
We don't have them. I don't even have them, but you can win them if you listen every day.
And these seats are better than the seats that you and Michael have, right?
15 rows better.
Yeah.
Michael and I are like row 20. So here's how you win. You listen every day to all the shows and take notes. If you can answer 5 questions about what happened on the show that day, you're eligible to win.
And don't forget, on Fridays, your chance to call in all 5 right answers, and you are in the 5th row at Crypto.com Arena for a Lakers game for free.
Time for everything we haven't gotten to today. Yes, it's time for the dump.
It was today in 1960, November 15th, 1960. Elgin Baylor dropped 71 points in a 123-108 win over the Knicks. He was the first NBA player in history to score 70 points in a game. Wilt Chamberlain would then go on to do that 6 times.
Sure, yeah.
70 or more for or 70 or more 6 times for Wilt Chamberlain. I still think, not that Elgin Baylor's 71 isn't crazy, not that Kobe's 81 isn't crazy. I wonder if you could get to a point where there's a game that doesn't matter, right? Where for the standings or whatever, it doesn't matter. If you said to Kevin Durant or Devin Booker, who we've seen go crazy before,
yeah,
we're going to try to get you 100. Not that it just happens because you go in a heater, but we're going to actively try to see how many points you can score. Who would you pick, and how close could they get?
It's so funny you put it that way, because I think if that's the intention, definitely, I think it's going to be more underwhelming. Don't you think it just kind of, it's a game where it just happens?
I would be riveted by it.
Right. Oh, no. Oh, of course, riveted of if that's the intention.
Yes.
But I'm saying the harder you try, I think the harder it would be to get to that point total.
I don't think it can just happen naturally. I think it's too hard. I think the league is too evenly balanced. Like, taking nothing away from Wilt, but Wilt was a 7-footer in an era where there weren't any.
What Booker have 70 against Boston?
Kobe had 81.
Kobe
Kobe
right?
had 60 in, what, 3
quarters?
Do you guys want to play a little last man standing, very quick, rapid fire last man standing?
Sure.
Okay, so who has had a 70-plus game in the NBA? There are 8, and I'm counting the 70 game. All right?
Okay.
So there are 8 people who have had a 70 or higher game in the NBA history. Travis, start us off.
Wilt.
All right, ding.
The other one we just put in there, Elgin Baylor.
All right.
Kobe.
Yep, Kobe.
Other one we put in there, Devin Booker.
Yes, Devin Booker.
I think he was 70 on the dot.
He had 70 on the dot.
I only have one more in my bag, so
I don't think I have. I might not have it. So let me think.
2 are still playing.
All right, so I'm thinking out loud. These are not my answers.
Sure.
I'm thinking Steph. I'm thinking LeBron. I'm thinking KD.
Maybe not who you're thinking.
Okay. Another guy that could go for Lillard?
Yes,
Lillard,
Damian Lillard.
Yeah.
Damian Lillard went for 71. Al?
David Robinson was the other one.
Oh,
Yep,
yeah.
David Robinson,
Yeah.
I
that's
remember
one.
David Robinson
Yeah.
having it.
All right.
How many are left now?
There are 2 left.
Give me an
And one of
era,
them's
and-
playing. You said
One of them is currently playing. The other one, I mean, part of me,
there's
it
another
was the
player
70s.
in the league.
It was the 70s to the other person. So one that's current in the league, one that was in the 70s. 78.
Current player in the league that scored 70 points is Kyrie Irving.
Nope, sorry, that's not Kyrie Irving. Al, you're the last man standing, but you're still winning.
Any of these guys? I know it ain't LeBron. It's not KD, right?
Nope.
Steph? No. Who is it?
It happened last year. Or actually, no, it happened this year. But in January of this year.
I have no
What?
idea.
Who the hell are we missing?
Donovan Mitchell.
Oh, yeah.
Donovan
Oh, my
Mitchell
God,
did on
that's
January
right.
2nd, 2023. The other person was David Thompson.
David Thompson.
Yeah, so that's everyone
So
knows
almost
plus.
Michael Thompson's yelling at us for not knowing this.
Oh, yeah,
I'm
you're
sure he's
100%
probably gonna
right
walk
on that.
in right now on the way in.
The Donovan, why do I feel like that? And there's nothing wrong with Donovan Mitchell, but like when I see Donovan Mitchell get it, even the Devin Booker one where they were down double digits and I think they were down 20, takes away a little something.
I would love to
still
see
70.
it.
What the
It's
hell
a
am I talking
gimmick,
about?
but like for instance, in Major League Baseball, and I don't think it's happened in a very long time, but it's happened in my lifetime where you get 2 teams that are out of it. Nobody's playing for it. You can't do it if somebody else has stakes in the game. But where they'd have a player play a different position every inning. So there's 9 innings, there's 9 positions. Somebody moves and plays 9 places in one spot. Like there are little gimmicky things like that. I would love to see, hey, listen, we're going to feed you the ball every time. You're going to play, if not 48 minutes, you're going to play 46 and a half.
Mm-hmm.
And we want you
And
to
you're
do
just chucking threes.
You got or if they're
Yeah.
get to the line, get a bunch of layups, get to
That's
the
true.
foul line, you'd have to be a good foul shooter, right? To get you have to.
It's a Booker-esque thing.
It's one of those guys,
Yeah.
Booker, KD,
Because I can still hit threes.
Yeah.
I'm automatic at the free throw line.
can finish at the rim.
I got a little bit of size to where, like you're saying, I could get to the rim and I'm comfortable going to the basket.
Today is National Clean Out Your Refrigerator Day. Which
Is that today?
We should. I need to observe that in my house.
Text Michelle right now.
Because there is nothing but half-used jars of whole grain mustard in the back of my refrigerator,
Or like too
65
many
of
hoisin
them.
sauces.
Too many hoisin sauces.
Yeah.
Yeah, every time, this recipe calls for whole grain mustard. You go buy a new little jar of whole grain mustard.
Oh, shoot, I
and
already
then
have
you
whole
open it up again. You're like, well, I have 7 of these in the refrigerator already? Every single time.
Yeah, for us, it's more kind of like vegetables that just end up down in the back. Now, I know you're trying to clean this thing out.
Those rot, though. Those
they
start
do.
to get gross.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's like just as simple as, can you make sure we're checking this? Like, I'm talking about myself here. Check this thing once a week.
Did you see the
salsa
way that
from the 90s?
Yeah, no, that's another one. You always, because if you want chips and salsa,
Yeah.
you buy chips and salsa. You
Yep.
buy
Right.
both of them.
So there's a
Salsa
sound on
expired before
TikTok.
COVID.
It's like, go to the grocery store, buy a bottle of hoisin sauce. Go to home, I see my bottle of hoisin sauce. Go to the grocery store. Anyway, it's I'll send it to you guys.
Hoisin sauce is you need like a spoonful tops, and they sell
Right,
it in,
exactly,
They
so you
sell
keep
it
it
in bottles
forever.
that are like by the gallon.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
You could never you could open a Chinese restaurant and you're not using that much hoisin sauce. It's impossible to do it. Did you see the way that
Mom, by the way, has a lifetime supply of hoisin sauce.
Everybody's
She got
mom
it
does.
at Costco.
Cosco?
Yeah, gigantic.
Are you the one that's never been to Costco? Is that
I've
you?
never been to Costco.
Wait,
still.
what were you eating during COVID that you bought? Was it Parmesan cheese or
Oh,
something?
I stacked up on the green cans of the Parmesan cheese.
the
That's
Kraft
my,
one?
Yeah, the Kraft. That's my favorite.
He was like the black market hookup for Parmesan
I had
during that time.
so much Parmesan because there was going to be a Parmesan shortage at one point.
You didn't want to buy real Parmesan
I put
cheese
no,
at any
I
point?
put that canned cheese on everything. It's like
It's
salt
look,
or cheese.
It's not. It's that's all that's in there is
Yeah.
salt and cheese. But there is good Parmesan.
Everyone was fighting for paper towels and toilet paper. He's
No,
like, I just want the farm.
I was on the cutting edge of the Parmesan cheese shortage.
Do you still have it stacked up like in your
do.
pantry?
Now I've got too much Parmesan cheese.
You're rooting for another what was it called? Lockdown.
Don't
definitely
mention.
not. Definitely not.
Don't mention the pantry to
Jorge
to
slept
Jorge.
in the pantry as a child.
Yeah.
we
Slept in the
discovered
pantry?
that today. Yes.
Yeah.
Like where
Yeah.
all the food is?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's a walk-in pantry, so it was enough space.
a lot
It
of
was a full
space.
house. It was a full house.
Really?
It was a full house for the
So
holidays.
you slept in the pantry?
Yeah. Well, we just put blankets in there, or whatever.
We did the laundry
next
room.
to the spaghetti.
Couple nights in the laundry
I'll
room.
tell you, my brothers and I had an apartment in Toledo where I slept on the floor for about a year.
On the floor?
On the floor for about a year.
Like in a sleeping bag or just on the floor?
Just with a blanket on top, but on the floor.
Like, would you do your bed in the morning?
You have 2 brothers, right?
I have 2 brothers. So I was living with my brother Brian, his wife, his baby, his wife's brother, my brother, and me. So it was like, 7 people in
How old were
a
you?
2-bedroom apartment. I was all of 22 years old.
You should have bought a sleeping bag.
Probably should have bought a sleeping bag.
Like, if you're going to say you're 16, then your brother should have bought you a sleeping bag.
Yeah.
But if you're 22, then you should
Can
have
you
bought
see him
yourself
in
a
the
sleeping
morning,
bag.
like making his bed? He's just getting the
We
blanket
got-
on the floor.
We got so kicked out of that apartment building. So kicked out. So 4th of July, we had bottle rockets, and we found a way to shoot them through the apartment building, like through the front door and out the back door. And we were just
That sounds like
sailing
fun.
through. Oh, it was awesome. They hated it.
I was going to say, it
obviously.
sounds like they had a reason to
We
move
were
on.
evicted.
These are things you do in your apartment when you're 22
Correct.
and not in your home as an adult.
I have stopped my bottle rocket
Hey, Juan,
obsession.
slide open the back door.
Yeah, let's do it.
I got a box of bottle rockets that I want to shoot through.
We talked about it today, and it brought me back to my younger days.
Let's do a little super crosstalk.
ESPN AM 710 Los Angeles. KRDC AM 1110 Pasadena, Los Angeles.
K256CX 99.1 FM, Pasadena, Los Angeles.
It's the greatest segment in LA sports radio history.
Oh my God. When the shows come together for magic on the radio.
It will only grow stronger. Super Crosstalk.
Are we ready for Mason and Ireland to join Travis and Slee?
Super Crosstalk begins. Super Crosstalk presented by In-N-Out Burger. In-N-Out. That's what a hamburger is all about.
It's time for Super
So what's new, Mace?
Well, what is new?
We were trying to
It's
think
rain.
of-
I
where
love
do
the
we start?
rain. It's so great when it rains in LA. Isn't that fantastic?
I didn't even know it was raining.
The
I haven't-
freeway
I'm just glad that
melted.
we
Now
could,
it's raining.
we could stack rain on top of taking off maybe the most important freeway in the
Yeah.
city.
Who needs the
That's
10?
that's a
Good
deal.
afternoon, Maze.
Good afternoon.
I found the sweet spot. It's 5:15.
5:15.
If I leave at 5:15 in the morning, I can get here at about the normal amount of time, right?
Because are you affected by the melted freeway?
Very much so.
Okay.
Very much so. So it usually takes me about an hour and 10 minutes.
Yeah.
If I leave at 5:15 now, it still takes me about an hour and 15 minutes. Okay. Not a
So
big
if
deal.
you leave a little earlier.
If I would left when I was leaving pre-freeway melting, 2+.
What time do you get here in the day?
Today or usually?
Usually.
7.
7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are. And you and Emily meet during that? What's the process?
Well, Emily usually beats me here. She's usually here a few minutes ahead of me.
And
but
she tells her roommate stories then?
no, we
Yes.
usually
One of her
wait
roommates
to-
did this.
Hey, were you a PBS watcher, like the cartoons, at any point in your life?
I watched Electric Company.
Okay.
I watched Zoom.
Okay.
Do you remember Zoom,
I-
Zoom?
I remember the Electric. You know, Morgan Freeman was on the Electric Company.
I know he was.
Yeah.
And Oscar winner Rita Moreno was on there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she was also
So
on there.
I'm gonna pull
She
this
was
up
on
real
Electric
quick.
Company. Hey, you guys.
Emily, which I did not notice until she told me this, is dressed as a famous PBS cartoon character today, inadvertently. So I'm going to pull this up.
Okay.
That's Arthur.
What do you think?
Oh, yeah. No, I totally see
Okay.
that.
Are you seeing Emily's?
You've got the glasses. You've got the
Yeah,
sweater.
the whole
The
thing.
jeans,
Yep.
and then I just
Jeans.
have tennis shoes, but I don't have red tennis shoes.
You've got the ears.
Yeah.
Well, no, not quite the ears.
No, but
I had to have
at
the
least
ears on
the
top
ears are
of
on the
my
side of
head.
your head,
Yeah,
right?
side of your head,
If they were on the
exactly.
top of your head,
Yeah.
You would be a
you'd have
dead
it there.
ringer, yeah.
Yeah, I did. She.
Yeah, separated at birth. Em and Arthur. What cartoon was that from?
Arthur.
Oh, that's the name
Yeah,
of the cartoon?
Arthur, and he had a very sassy sister named
Yeah.
DW.
DW.
I never watched Arthur. What was the years?
I didn't watch it either.
Yeah.
Late
90s, early
Yeah.
2000s. Yeah, right in my sweet spot.
Yeah. You know, I had a pilot for PBS that I did for a talk show years ago.
Tell me more.
So PBS, we made a deal with PBS in Washington, and we were going to create a companion show for Charlie Rose, and we were
Okay.
going to come on after Charlie Rose every night. And we did a demo reel, and we had, I forget who was on there.
You say we. Were you the host or you have a co-host?
I was the host.
Okay.
I was the host.
Okay.
So we had a whole bunch of people do a test show, and it went to PBS, and in the end, they couldn't sell it.
Really?
Yeah. Shows are super expensive at PBS, and you got to have the Arthur Miller Foundation or all that stuff. It never
You
just
couldn't get your
quite-
hands on some of that Sesame Street money?
Could not quite get there. I was so close.
Who did
so
you do
close.
the test show with? Did you get like a real celeb
Who
or
did
newsmaker?
I had no. They were all kind of interesting PBS-y kind of people. PBS-y.
Yeah, that
I
works.
sound like a PBS guy, don't I?
I wonder why they couldn't sell it.
Yeah, exactly. No,
All you PBSs?
I remember Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
You don't get it.
okay.
I remember James Cromwell. I remember the composer Elmer Bernstein. I remember Joan Van Ark. I remember Peter Melman, who was a writer on Seinfeld.
I would have watched this show.
It was really, really good. Now, what I've done is, this will be interesting, I'm in the middle of digitizing all of my old stuff.
Oh, very nice.
Using that legacy
Yeah.
box thing. So I'm waiting for it to come back. But one of the things that is going to be digitized is that demo reel.
Oh, you still
from
have
all
the copy?
I still have the actual demo reel, yeah. So I'm going to digitize
Was it so?
that.
I'm in my mind's eye, and maybe it's just because you said Charlie Rose.
Yep.
Was it like the black set where it was just two
Black
chairs,
set.
a table, and the host and the guest were lit? That's
Not
it?
even a table. It was more Tom Snyder style, which is
Okay.
sitting across from each other with no table in between. You're
Yeah.
just basically, and then you're shooting over the shoulder, and you're getting. It's really, really
because
cool.
the production value on Charlie Rose was two chairs, a desk, and some lights.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah. He.
I want your show to get green lit, Mace. You should
It's a
run it
little
back
late
got a
now,
shot.
isn't it? A
No.
little late
Run
now.
it back.
Yeah.
Still try?
Did you ever try to do a TV show like that, Slee?
No.
No,
No.
me neither. They
No,
don't put
never.
They don't put this on TV.
Yeah, I always took my shot. I was like, all right.
You wanted to be
I'll
a
try
late
this.
night host, didn't you?
I did. I
Yeah.
did. Yeah. But I wanted to be a late night host in the vein of Snyder or any of the kind of old school guys that did it. That's what I didn't want to be. James Corden and doing dances in the middle of the street.
Oh, so you wanted to do something interesting,
Right? Exactly. I didn't want to do Jimmy Fallon with all these goofy skits.
Well,
I wanted to just do
You could
conversation.
just stand next to somebody who does something interesting and wave your arms around. That's the
That's
Jimmy Fallon experience.
Yeah, you're a big Jimmy Fallon fan.
Loves
It
Jimmy
just
Fallon.
bothers me.
yeah.
Like,
He
look,
loves Jimmy Fallon.
now he's successful.
He's
and,
done
and-
well.
and he's done really well. So I don't begrudge anybody their success.
Yes.
If you've found your lane, good for you. But just standing next to the guy that does the thing and jumping up and down, feels.
And then no matter who comes
reachable.
on, who comes on musically, it's like Jimmy has to be part of the number.
Yeah.
It's like, no, Jimmy, you're the host. Let them do their performance.
Now, do you not like Jimmy the way?
No, I think
Travis
Jimmy's
doesn't like-
okay. He's not my first choice.
Yeah.
I like Kimmel the best. Kimmel's my favorite.
It's me too.
Yeah.
I don't dislike Colbert. Like Colbert it's cool.
Colbert, if you want politics, you go to Colbert.
That's
and
why
I really don't, in my late night talk,
Yep.
I don't want politics.
Yep. Kimmel is the most like the ones that you and I grew up with.
Yes.
The Carsons and the Lettermans and those sorts of
Exactly.
things. Yeah.
Exactly.
Nobody liked Conan, huh? I used to love Conan.
I never
No?
watched Conan.
Never.
No.
His sense of humor is different. It's more dry, and he still does a lot of stuff. I think this is all YouTube based and everything
Yeah.
else. But I don't feel like you guys didn't really care for Conan, right?
Yeah,
I
wouldn't
never-
go that far. I didn't dislike Conan. Conan was really hit and miss with me. When it hit, I thought it was
hilarious,
great,
and when it didn't, it was
But
dumb.
it didn't. The batting average wasn't where I needed it to be.
Sure.
Yeah, Conan's got he's got his niche of people.
I agree. Yeah.
I was a big Letterman guy. Letterman was my favorite of all time. Probably more than anything, that's where my sense of humor came from, was Letterman.
Do you?
Well, I was going to say, were you? Because I think Mace was going to be at that same game. We were talking about the Rams and
I
the
was
Chiefs
there.
game.
I heard you guys talking about it. It's the most unbelievable night.
It's got to be the top 2 or 3 things I've ever seen with my own 2 eyes.
It's one of the coolest things I've ever been at, was that game. And, one of the great things about it was you mentioned that Shakira tore up the field down in Mexico
Right.
City, and that's why the game had to
Right.
move. Remember, it moved at the last minute.
Yeah,
It
like
moved
a
a few
few
days
days
before.
before.
And that meant that it was all Rams fans in the building. There were no Chiefs
Oh,
fans.
yeah, that's
it
right.
was
They couldn't
all
come. That's
Rams
true.
fans because the tickets went on sale super late.
It was a weird week, too, because a couple of other things happened that week.
What else?
There was the huge fire going on at the same time, so there
Correct.
was a lot of smoke in the air.
And there were a lot of first responders
lot of
that were
first
invited to the
responders.
game.
And
yeah.
the other reason there were a lot of first responders there, sadly, it was the same week of the shooting in Thousand Oaks.
Oh, yeah,
right.
that's
So
right.
they had
Yeah,
a lot
that's
of
right.
there was just so many different things going on in the
Yeah.
city at the same time, and then you put together maybe the greatest NFL game, at least as far as just points and explosions and everything go. I don't know if you heard the list that Emily rattled off. The Rams only scored 29, they scored 29 or more points 15 times that season.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Or maybe it's 14. I forget if it was a 14.
It was 15.
15.
There was 3 times they scored under 30, but one was 29.
Yeah, but I mean, what about this year? The greatest show on turf, man. We were just rolling up points game after game.
The Packers game. Just incredible offense.
You have to pay your visa occasionally.
Yeah.
And this is, you went and had the vacation of your life. It's
true.
You went around the world twice.
Yeah.
You went to the Super Bowl. You won a Super Bowl. You bought all these players. You gave out all these draft picks. And eventually that bill, or I guess it doesn't.
Now
come
you're
in the mail
only allowed
anymore.
to go to work and home.
Right.
You just go back and forth.
Right.
Plus, I think realistically, like I was talking to Juan about this, and you don't really get to complain when you won the Super Bowl.
What's the
just a couple
statute of
years.
limitations?
Yeah, when you start getting angry again,
When you can
frustrated.
it doesn't. Is it 5 years?
I was just going to say, I got a number.
5 years feels about right.
So we're talking 2026.
Yeah,
Where you're
2020. I'm
allowed to
already a
complain
little
again?
pissed off about 2026.
Okay, so
I
Rams,
thought we would be in a better spot.
Rams, let's say it's, you guys said 5 years.
Yeah.
When did they move back? The official year was
2016.
Okay, 2016. If I told you that in 2016 you were going to get one Super Bowl.
Yep.
Between 2016 and 2030, would you say I'm okay with that? Or would you say no? I'm gonna gamble here. I'm gonna take the chance.
It depends. So you can have really fun competitive years without winning the Super Bowl, right? I mean, if you're a team that's in it, around it, all the time, I'll take that.
But the fun starts going away.
The fun does. We are obviously in the not fun part of the transition.
I don't
here.
think it can just be how many Super Bowls or NBA championships did you get in X amount of years, right? It's are you exciting? Are you interesting? Are you in the mix? Right?
Kind of what he's
Because
saying, yeah.
It needs to be. It can't be. Hey, we won the Super Bowl, and every other year you went 4-13.
Right.
Sure.
It can't be that. It can't be the Jeff Fisher era where it's just 7-9, 8-8, 7-9, 6-10, and then you get one that spikes.
Well, and it
feels
hasn't,
pretty good.
right? It's just these 2 years after the Super Bowl is where you're paying the bill most. Before that, it's been very exciting.
Right.
It's not like the Rams didn't have exciting years prior. I mean, since Sean McVay's been here.
Well, they've been to the Super Bowl twice in 5 years.
Yeah, I mean, you can't complain. Like, I was talking to somebody
of
who's a
course not.
Broncos fan, and they're like, we never won. I'm like, you just won the Super Bowl 7 years ago. Shut
Yeah.
up. Like, that's pretty good.
Now, yes, they've also been terrible ever
Terrible,
since then.
right.
Not just not good. The Rams went to the Super Bowl, missed, came back, were okay, then won it, and now
they're in the
you're
toilet.
in the ebb,
Yeah.
shall we say.
Yeah.
We need to get back to the flow days.
Yes.
That's what needs to happen. You guys have McVay coming up here.
Yeah,
in a little bit.
McVay's coming up in a while,
Don't
yeah.
ask him a soup question. I've heard that he doesn't like
soup
those.
questions
Yeah, no
off
soup
the
questions.
board.
No soup
off
for you.
the board.
We still, I don't. Let's see.
No
here.
soup for you.
Yeah. Oh,
I have no idea what that means.
Yep.
Yeah, that's Coach
That's
McVay.
the answer that you would
Yeah,
get.
and I heard you talking about, do you want him to win? Do you want him to lose?
I want him to win, but I also don't want to win 6 or 7 games. That doesn't interest me all that much. You guys can ask him that question as well. Super Crosstalk is brought to you by In-N-Out Burger.